in the shop for several months. It was all gone in the first hour that we were open.
To other news, the trial of e-scooters across the city has been extended until the end of the year, the move allowing the government to review their use and add further regulations. They've proven popular with Adelaide riders, clocking up more than 1.4 million kilometres on the scooters. All eyes will be on the Australian share market this morning after more than $60 billion was wiped off its value. The US market remains shaky, with Wall Street still down. And the World Health Organization says a dramatic drop in the number of new COVID cases means the end of the pandemic is now in sight. New infections are at their lowest since March 2020. That's when the outbreak was declared an international warning. Now to FIVEAA Sport.
New Mitsubishi Triton with 10-year warranty, 10-year capped price servicing at Agostino Mitsubishi, Nailsworth and Elizabeth.
And it's good morning to Tom Wren.
And a very good morning to you as well, Mel. Let's start with some footy, and it is selection night for the 4 AFL preliminary final teams. Excitement building ahead of the 2 blockbuster matches. Geelong takes on Brisbane at the MCG tomorrow night, while it's Sydney and Collingwood to play at the SCG on Saturday. Meantime, veteran AFL umpire Matt Stevic has stopped short of throwing his support behind having an extra set of eyes on the field next season. The league is reportedly set to introduce a 4th umpire in 2023. Stevic says it can get tough with the current 3 umpire setup.
Particularly inside 50s, and it's some stoppage work, but you try and hedge your bets and you look at the key players that generally cop plenty of attention. If you try and just look at 10 pairs, you're never going to see anything.
The 42-year-old is gearing up for his 450th match when he officiates in that prelim final between Sydney and Collingwood at the SCG. Well, it's approaching full-time in European Champions League action this morning, with Chelsea currently 1-0 up against Salzburg. That's in Graham Potter's first match in charge since Thomas Tuchel was sacked. But Manchester City finds itself 1-0 down with about 20 minutes to play against German side Borussia Dortmund. And Carlo Armento and Luke Ivanovic will swap A-League clubs. Brisbane Roar and Perth Glory have organised the transfer. And that's the FIVEAA Sport.
Now the FIVEAA forecast.
Buy an orthopaedic model queen-size mattress for only $999 at Elite Bedding, South Road, Edwardstown.
18 for your Thursday, but showers developing. Showers tomorrow 15, Saturday showers and 15, Sunday 16. Right now it's 9 degrees. More news as it happens on FIVEAA.
Nothing beats a road trip, so before you do the fun stuff, let RAA do the car stuff.
Breakfast on FIVEAA, David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
6 after 6, good morning to you. Welcome to Thursday on FIVEAA Breakfast. We're going to be chatting with the busiest man in Britain after 6:30 today, Vincent McAviney, our London correspondent, who has appeared, I think, in the last 7 days on more continents and television stations than just about anyone in journalistic history. He's going to be back with us here on FIVEAA after 6:30. Very much looking forward to talking to him about the latest in what has been an extraordinary 24 hours with the public now visiting the resting place of the Queen and shuffling their way through very slowly. Heard Sam Dado on the early breakfast talking about the extraordinary lines that are lining London at the moment to get in and catch a glimpse. We'll talk about that with Vincent after 6:30. We have Matt Abraham after 7:30 today to dissect the spin of the week. But the thing I think all of Adelaide is waiting for, and so many people are saying to me they think they know the answer, our grand final ticket competition feels like it's not just at the business end, it's at the final siren. The tickets, the accommodation, the flights, all included. You just need to tell us who's got your ticket. And David, it feels like everyone in Adelaide knows who it is, or at least thinks they know who it is.
Speak for yourself. I've got no idea. I still think it's Mark Nailey. Good morning, Will. Good morning, listeners. He, as far as I can recall, played no role in the 2004.
No, not an obvious one.
AFL Grand Final.
Maybe he watched it.
God rest his soul. I met Mark only a few years ago at the New Calvary Hospital just up the road here in Angus Street when he was doing a really courageous job fighting against brain cancer. I met his surgeon, Amal, Dr. Amal. I don't think I've ever known her surname. Oh, no, Jaburi. Lovely young woman, incredibly talented. But, yeah, brain cancer is a tough one to beat. He's a lovely guy, Mark Nailey, but he's not the... He does not have the tickets.
He's not the answer. Right. He doesn't have the tickets.
Doesn't have the tickets.
He's been ruled out by a few of the clues now. We'll be up to clue number 9 today. but I don't know if it's going to necessarily be. I think a lot of people have been suggesting they know it's only one of a real small group of people.
Yeah, well, you still got to get through though, don't you?
That's the trick.
What if some dolt like me gets through and
says Mark Nayley?
Yeah, Mark Nayley.
Well, then it goes to day 10.
Just thinking, Port v Brisbane 2004. Would it be South Adelaide? Great Mark Nayley. There's every chance that someone as stupid as me could get on the phone. With a guest like that.
That happens. You'll hear people throwing mobile phones all across Adelaide.
I reckon you can have a pretty bad morning pea superwise, Will. Have you looked up towards the Adelaide Hills?
Let me have a look.
Look at that. That's got 3 hours worth of pea super references written all over it, if you ask me. Small things entertain small minds, don't they?
It looks pretty bleak out there, doesn't it?
It does. It does. Hey, I tell you what. I am not a royalist. I could not stop watching the television last night. That was just the most incredible visual spectacle. I wonder if anyone else is listening who just stayed up past midnight. I was still up at midnight watching it. Everything about it, the choreography, the marching, the music, it was just superb.
There's a beautiful thing that happens every 20 minutes at the moment, where the house guard that are standing watch over the Queen's coffin at the moment in Westminster Hall. There's a medieval ceremony that takes place where there's the changing of the guard effectively, and the line is brought to a stop by the ushers who are standing there, and they march out with precision. But it's all very theatrical. It's very traditional, and it feels like you're in a time capsule. It feels like you're in another era, standing in this magnificent Westminster Hall with, I think Sky have got a locked off camera at the moment, and watching this all unfold every 20 minutes as people shuffle past. I was looking at the pictures this morning thinking, it's funny. It's funny when you look at something in the contemporary moment, the look on people's faces, if it was in black and white, it would make more sense to me. And I mean that in a sense that the degree to which this means so much to people, and they're almost brought to tears by just standing in the vicinity of Queen Elizabeth. I didn't expect this level of emotion from this many people in 2022. I think we underestimated it. I think we downplayed it for a long, long time. We didn't realise the level of affection. We knew she was beloved, but what we're seeing is something that no one will ever see again.
Yeah.
Right now.
Well, you wonder, so Charles is 73, so he's clearly not even close to being in with a chance of serving for anywhere near as long as his late mother. But is this type of send-off mandatory for every monarch when they?
I believe it is.
Because it would actually look kind of opulent and inappropriate for future monarchs, but for Queen Elizabeth II, this looks like the send-off she deserves, doesn't it?
So it all seems entirely appropriate.
Yeah, yeah.
Anne in Somerton Park's called in on 8223 0000. Anne, good morning to you.
Hello, David. I feel a bit bleary-eyed too.
Did you stay up too, Anne?
Yes.
It was transfixing, wasn't it?
Actually, I have been up for so many late nights for the whole, the week or so.
Yeah.
That it was amazing, absolutely amazing. And also, lucky enough to have gone to London a couple of times many years ago, I could also pick out a few places, as they were coming through the streets at varying times too.
I think a lot of Australians, I think, London would be the number one city for a lot of people to have visited over the years, and I went there myself once years ago, and they do it uniquely, the Brits, don't they? It's extraordinary. Great call, Anne.
Thank you, Anne. There was that bit of silliness that was knocking around yesterday, that vision that got shown everywhere of King Charles getting frustrated and he spilled some ink on himself, and Camilla's there and he's... In fact, I think we've got a little bit of it here.
I just had is it September 12th?
13th, sir.
Oh, God, I'm wrong date. 13th?
Yes, sir.
You said the 12th earlier.
Where did I go to 12th? I suddenly turned... Oh, God, I hate this.
Oh, look, it's going everywhere. Hang on. So nobody got wrong.
Where is the map?
Oh, look, it's everywhere.
Oh, there, this bloody thing.
You can hear him say the thing, I hate this bloody thing. every stinking time there at the end. And
it was a fountain pen leaking.
It was a fountain pen. He missigned something. And at first people were saying, bit of fly on the wall stuff. The king losing, getting a little bit frustrated and upset. Then I saw some people lurch into the world of, well, I don't think you would have seen Queen Elizabeth do this. I mean, clearly a very different approach to being king. The bloke's mother just died.
Yeah. Yeah.
His father died a year ago, and suddenly every second of his life during this process, a camera. One of the best photos I saw, and it's a great photo because it's totally candid, was a photo through the window at Buckingham Palace. I don't know if you've seen this.
Yeah, it's a great photo.
And you can just see suddenly they're in their home.
They're just a family.
And like Charles's head's hung. And I thought, that's every second you're seeing what this bloke's reacting like to a real human. It's a family tragedy.
Well, you think about it. When there's a death within the family, normally, no questions asked, the boss gives you a week off. Well, for King Charles, his boss is the British people. So he and Vincent put it best the other morning when I said, so what's the deal with Charles? When's he become king? He said, no, he is king. So the split second your own mother dies, you got to throw yourself into your new job. There's no quiet time for him.
No.
And so much of it jars with human instinct. Like the other thing you want, I think, when you're mourning is a bit of privacy.
Completely.
The number one thing you want is not to have to think about work, and you want quiet time with your loved ones. You don't even want to often talk to friends because you find it exhausting, not your best friends, but people on the sort of second outer circle. You just, do I really have to tell them what's going on? I don't want to have 25 identical conversations about how my mum or my dad is about to cark it. So this guy, he's up to about 5 different public appearances. The one in Scotland, the one in Ireland, now the Abbey overnight. Like every single part of it is in public. But it's just wankers on Twitter, which is the subject of an excellent piece I've written for Monday's media section of The Australian, particularly the role that journalists on Twitter play in making the whole thing such a toxic environment.
Look forward to reading it. 15 after 6, news headlines next.
G'day, it's Jared for Southern Mitsubishi. Thinking Mitsubishi or servicing your existing car? Southern Mitsubishi is your absolute go-to. Their state-of-the-art servicing technology and world-class quality control systems will ensure your vehicle gives you many years of hassle-free motoring pleasure. The same goes for buying a new Mitsubishi. They stock the full range, all designed to thrill. So get in touch with the amazing team at Southern Mitsubishi, 147 Main South Road, Morphett Vale. Driven by Australian Motors, LVD 80.
Can I have a flat white to take away, thanks?
Sure, that'll be $10.
Sorry, but the cafe down the road has the same coffee beans and the same milk for only $4.
Yeah, well, ours is $10, Dale.
Ah, I see.
Should have gone to Specsavers, because whether you're buying coffee or hearing aids, you shouldn't have to pay top dollar for top-of-the-range features. Book a free 15-minute hearing check today at specsavers.com.au/hearing. Conditions apply.
There's never a good time for car battery failure. I've always said that. If your battery lets you down and you're travelling across regional SA, it's reassuring to know you can count on RAA 24/7 to replace it and get you back on the road.
Whether your battery's completely kaput or just showing signs of age, one of RAA's road service patrols can come to you night or day. And remember, RAA road service holders are entitled to free delivery and installation on most batteries.
So before you head out on your next road trip to do the fun stuff, let RAA do the car stuff. Search RAA Motor for more. Subject to limitations on battery range and availability. Battery replacement only available to RAA roadside service holders. Terms and conditions apply. Available from RAA.
Since 1982, our passionate teams at First National Real Estate have worked 10,400 days and around 582 million hours across Australia with one common goal: to always put you first. And we'll be here in Adelaide to help you on your journey to your happy place. Be it a tree change, a sea change, upsize, downsize, or finding that investment gem. First National Real Estate. We put you first. firstnational.com.au.
We're for helping you keep the cost of living down. So pick up today's advertiser for 20% off dental products at Coles when you scan your flybys. Today only. Limits, exclusions and T&Cs apply.
9
News has the experience to break the news. Made in Adelaide for Adelaide. 9 News.
Nothing beats a road trip, so before you do the fun stuff, let RAA do the car stuff.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
18 minutes after 6, let's get into the news headlines on this, the Thursday, the 15th of September. Tens of thousands of people have lined the procession route for Queen Elizabeth in London as she left Buckingham Palace for the last time. The public now filing past the Queen's coffin at Westminster Hall as a 4-day lying in state period continues. King Charles, his 3 siblings and 2 sons walked behind the casket and was carried by gun carriage to Westminster. The US President has spoken with the new king on the phone. The White House says Joe Biden has conveyed great admiration the American people had for the Queen. Mr. Biden has asked to keep a close relationship with King Charles. The World Health Organisation says a dramatic drop in the number of new COVID cases means the end of the pandemic is now in sight. New infections are at their lowest since March 2020 when the outbreak was declared an international warning. But WHO Chief Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus warns failure to seize the opportunity will lead to more variants and further deaths.
Last week, the number of weekly reported deaths from COVID-19 was the lowest since March 2020. We have never been in a better position to end the pandemic. We're not there yet, but the end is in sight.
It's funny, we had a case, a note came home from school yesterday that our 7-year-old had a case in his class, and I was just reflecting on. You get an email like that and you go, oh yeah, whatever. Like you spend less than a second processing it. But 2 years ago, I wouldn't have been at work today.
Absolutely. 2 years ago, if we had news that one case had crossed the border, a chill would have gone up everyone's spine.
It probably would have been page 1. You know,
all day.
COVID school horror, something like that. You know.
Now it's not even COVID school minor nuisance.
No, that's right. As you were.
Which
is good.
A flight of Australians attending the Queen's funeral will depart today. On board the VIP jet will be 10 ordinary Aussies invited, along with horse training couple Guy and Robert Waterhouse. The Waterhouses got their invitation from Lord Chaplain Andrew Parker and trained a number of horses for the Queen. Dr. Trudy Lynn from South Australia is attending the funeral. Dr. Lynn is a specialist in the delivery of oral health care to people with intellectual and physical disabilities and other health challenges. She's also South Australia's Young Australian of the Year. What an experience that she'll get to have.
Very impressive young woman. And, interesting sort of cross-section of humanity heading along.
The eldest daughter of the late Shane Warne has labelled a telly movie about her dad as beyond disrespectful. It is in the planning to be on Channel 9 next year. Brooke Warne posed the question on her Instagram, do any of you have respect for our dad or family who did so much for Channel 9? You are beyond disrespectful.
Are they getting into the sort of seamier side of Warnie's life, are they?
I would guess...
If it's a warts and all telly movie...
but let's be honest, the selling point in TV for a Shane Warne telly movie would be all the salacious stuff.
Yeah.
That's just how TV works.
It is pretty extraordinary that the network with which he was synonymous would be the ones who do it. Don't you reckon? I mean, that'd be like us doing something untoward and then, after we no longer hear 5AA do a sort of 10-part series about the sexual peccadilloes of David and Will.
Maybe we haven't asked...
Wouldn't be a very long program, sadly.
Maybe we haven't asked enough questions about why these cameras were installed in the studio. We've been buying this live stream dross all this time. It's for the doco later. 22 after 6. The weather today is not going to be unlike yesterday. We are cool right now at 8.7 degrees outside and heading for a top of 18 with 5 to 10 mils of rain. Tomorrow is potentially... pretty remarkable rain-wise if it hits us full-on. Top of 15 with up to 20 mils of rain for Friday, and it lingers Saturday. They're very confident it'll at least be a decent downpour on Saturday because the range is just 8 to 10 mils. So that suggests it's going to be seriously wet on Saturday as well. Sunday, top of 16 and possibly up to 3, depending on when that rain comes in. If it's late, it'll linger into the Sunday.
Any fog references there, Will, over the coming days?
Well, none whatsoever because they deal in science, David, at the Bureau. Monday, top of 21. Tuesday, 20. And Wednesday, a top of 18.
Real peacekeeper out there today, Tommy. Have you looked up to the hills,
no, yeah, it's not looking great, is it?
No. Be careful. Be careful on the roads.
Yes.
Is there a coal power plant in the hills all of a sudden? Is there that I wasn't aware of? I didn't realise. That should be someone should get onto that and tell that story.
They're going to form one of those action groups. People of Allgate against coal-fired power stations.
Tom Wren in the studio, new Mitsubishi Triton with 10-year warranty, 10-year cap price servicing. Agostino Mitsubishi, Nailsworth and Elizabeth. Morning, Rennie.
Morning, Will. Morning, David. The boys, we've spoken a bit this year about, coaches coming back, and you see it in the Premier League a lot with, coaches, if it doesn't work the first time, they get a second chance. Michael Voss, prime example. Coached at Brisbane and then was an assistant for some time, but now back in the fold at Carlton and did a pretty good job, albeit they missed the finals in the end. But I'm staggered that we could have James Hird, 7 years after it all ended pretty acrimoniously, coming back into the Essendon coaching job. Now he's one of several candidates, Brendan Lade, who we remember as a Port Premiership player, assistant for a long time, Adam Uze, who is widely respected. But Hird was interviewed yesterday officially and is up to his eyeballs in this job at the Bombers.
Blows my mind. But you know what? I think a lot of it gets made about this being a James Hird story. I think it's an Essendon story. The number of people that don't want to come within a bull's roar of that joint and take the head coaching job. There's only ever 18 head coaching jobs in Australia, in the world, in the AFL. The fact that half the big names just instantly said, no interview, no nothing, I don't want to go anywhere near your club, is a story about where Essendon's at. And the fact they've had to turn to a guy who was sacked in disgrace 7 years ago, where I still have that phrase from the Ziggy Switkowski report that lingers in my mind about he oversaw an environment of pharmacological experimentation. Okay, let's bring that guy back. Blows my mind.
I was thinking the exact same thing when I saw the radio piece yesterday pop up on the Tigers website, and I thought James Hird only enters the mix when either no one wants to go there or the board is so inept that they can't find anyone else. So you end up with the joke candidate suddenly becoming the front runner. I think it's crazy. Remembering the comments of Paddy Ryder at the time, whose wife was pregnant, when he was taking all of this crap, and also to having a fully and historically understandable Indigenous suspicion about the idea of a bunch of white people telling him that he needed to be injected with some stuff. Don't worry, mate. This is all for the greater good. The key reason that guy ended up at Port Adelaide, and it's called thymosin B. So, good luck, Hirdy. Great footballer.
Amazing. I guess, to play devil's advocate, is there a chance that it's the fairy tale return, the great story of redemption, that he makes it all work?
We can wheel him out in the middle of the MCG on a giant inflatable syringe.
It's like, because the stories, the inevitable stories will be the anxiety amongst parents of young kids who get drafted to go there. Now, I think that'll probably be unfair, but that's an inevitable story that'll get told. Because at best, if you're being kind to James Hird, you say he was completely naive.
Yeah.
And he thought this is what part of competitive sport was, trying to find a cutting edge.
And I put my full faith in the medical staff and, those that are overseeing the program.
But you're inviting all those stories to get told again.
That's right.
And you're inviting...
It has to get brought up again, doesn't it?
Completely.
I mean, we're talking about it now.
And it will be the whole time he's there. And beyond that, if you're putting all that to one side and talking about it in a football sense and a coach, what do you need from the coach of a football club who becomes the spokesperson for it and
total
the head
trust.
authority figure? You need total trust, and they need to have total authority. Can he wield that ever again? I'm sure he can for a couple of old boys on the board that love watching him play and for whom Hirdy was their hero. I get that, but...
It was a bigger scandal for Essendon than the camp was for the Crows, and that's not to downplay the camp. The camp was an unmitigated disaster.
Yes.
But this, I think this pipped it as a story.
That was a
It
daily.
would be as dumb as the Crows going, why don't we get back, Burton and Pikey and see, maybe on their return we could take the boys up the Gold Coast for a bit of a weekend away.
It would be like that.
Yeah, it's extraordinary. So we'll see how it plays out. I suspect he won't get it. I think it would be an Adams Uze would be my best bet, but
he's a medalist, isn't he?
I don't know if he
won.
No,
he wasn't.
Played at Melbourne. Played in the grand final in 2000.
Who was the Melbourne player on the Brownlow around that time?
Shane
Woden.
Yeah, with the peroxided hair.
Yeah, and his son now plays. Taj, I reckon.
Taj Woden.
Yeah. Yep. And but he Adamuse, very well respected. Great player.
Great footballer.
Yeah, used to wear the long sleeves, number 13.
Yeah,
very good.
They need an untried coach. They need a young coach. They need to
Yeah.
set themselves that this is a decade worth of rebuilding we need to
Craig
do.
McRae.
Be realistic about it.
I mean, how refreshing has he been? Now, I know for every Craig McRae there's a few that don't work, but he's just been a breath of fresh air this season. So, yeah, it'll be fascinating, so we'll see what happens.
Good stuff, Rennie.
Good on you, boys.
Thanks, Tom. 10-year warranty, 10-year cap price servicing. Agostino, Mitsubishi, Nailsworth and Elizabeth.
If you're due for a service, here's a little reminder of what you get at Mawson Lakes Mazda. Sure, your car gets state-of-the-art servicing by top-trained mechanics. But what do you get? Try next day servicing, complimentary loan car, vacuum and wash. Oh, and your breakfast or lunch is on us. At Mawson Lakes Mazda, we know that to be the best, we've got to look after your car and look after you. Mawson Lakes Mazda, just a short drive from the city.
Dreaming of a new bathroom or kitchen? Get the best brands and the latest trends at Adelaide Bathroom and Kitchen Supplies. The ABK Supplies showroom has just been renovated to showcase a range of Australian-made customisable vanities. Brands like ADP, Timberline, Marquee and more, including imported options. With so many choices for cabinet colours, tops and basins, your kitchen or bathroom will be stylish and timeless. Browse the new displays at ABK, Adelaide Bathroom and Kitchen Supplies, Lower North East Road, opposite Durnan Court Village.
Now, with music at the touch of a button nowadays, there's something extra special about going over the road. I love doing this. Going to Clarity Records and taking your music home on vinyl.
Well, exactly right. It's a way of saying this album's so important to you, you want to hold it in the flesh. You want to take time for it to soak in.
That's right. I mean, you use Apple Music, use Spotify. It's also...
It's transactional.
It is. It's ephemeral and, music comes and goes, but something tangible and sort of enduring about having a piece of vinyl in your hand, the design, the sleeve, and there's nothing like the sound of a record. It's a piece of music history. And look, speaking of music, Clarity Records, from the Beatles to Billie Eilish, from Miles Davis to Metallica, Clarity Records know their music.
Whether you're buying the first of many or you're hunting something down, drop in, browse and reminisce.
And look, we are proud to say that we've partnered up with the great people, Matt and Lauren at Clarity Records, to for Friday week's big musical extravaganza, Grand Vinyl Eve, Friday, September 23, from 7 to 10 p.m. Don't forget to tune in. We'll be spinning some of the greatest sports tracks of all time, thanks to Clarity Records, your fully independent record store, serving the local music community for more than 12 years, 60 Pulteney Street, Adelaide, or check out clarityrecords.net.
What was it Auntie Pam would say? When I arrive at the pearly gates, I want to pull up with nothing left in the tank and also sideways.
Aunt Pam was a character. You could hear her laugh from miles away.
I'll never forget weekends at that beach shack of hers.
And her interesting decorations.
You know, I've never met anyone who could be so late all the time. She managed to show up on time today, though. 10 points.
See you around, Aunt Pam.
A unique life deserves a distinctive funeral. distinctivefunerals.com.au.
This is Adelaide's FIVEAA.
Showers developing 18 today with the 6:30 news. I'm Mel Usher.
The X in Physio Extra stands for X Factor, keeping you on the field during the finals. physioextra.com.
The Queen left Buckingham Palace for the final time overnight. The procession from her London residence to Westminster Hall mid-afternoon local time, bringing large parts of London to a standstill. The King and his heir, the Prince of Wales, among the group of royal family members taking part in the convoy. Victoria was there and says it was extremely moving, sparking a roller coaster of emotions.
Numb, I think, is the best way to describe it. It's almost like it's still not really real. It was really moving, a really emotional, respectful tribute to her. It was really, really moving.
Upon Her Majesty's arrival at Westminster, a service was held to honour Queen Elizabeth, the Archbishop of Canterbury, Justin Welby.
Grant us, with thy servant Queen Elizabeth, and all the faithful departed, the sure benefits of thy Son's saving passion and glorious resurrection.
The doors have now been opened to the public as she lies in state for 4 days. Mourners face lengthy waits to pay their final respects. The line-up now over 4.5 kilometres long. The Governor-General spoke to the new King on the phone last night. He'll fly out today with the Prime Minister ahead of the funeral on Monday. President Joe Biden has also called King Charles to offer his condolences, the first time the pair have spoken since the Queen's death. Alison Petrowski reports.
President Biden told King Charles III he wanted a close relationship moving forward. The US President recalled fondly the Queen's kindness and hospitality, including when she hosted him at Windsor Castle in June last year. The White House says Joe Biden conveyed the great admiration of the American people for the Queen. The British government has given the President just 2 tickets for next week's funeral in Westminster Abbey. In a concession to the US, President Biden will be allowed to arrive at the church in his own vehicle after earlier suggestions all world leaders would be bussed to the church together.
To other news, a drink driver crashed into 2 other vehicles at Northfield and Paraka last night. The 35-year-old from Salisbury blew 6 times the legal limit. He's been reported for drink driving and driving while disqualified. Surging inflation in the US could lead to steeper interest rate increases in Australia. Yesterday was a bad one on the money markets, and around $60 billion was wiped off the value of the ASX. Drowning is a significant concern among Australian households. 70% of parents believe water safety is just as important as road safety, and 28% deem it even more important. Retired Olympic swimmer Libby Trickett says parental supervision is the best prevention.
A very, very close second in terms of important is getting our kids learning to swim, to get them confident, to get them safe in their skills and abilities around water.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
10-year warranty and 10-year capped price servicing at Agostino Mitsubishi, Nailsworth and Elizabeth.
What is happening at Essendon, Tom Wren?
Well, it's a big story, isn't it, Mel? And it is that James Hird is a chance to come back as coach of the club. Now, Hird oversaw one of the most tumultuous periods in the club's and indeed the AFL's history with a supplement saga before he resigned in 2015. Brendan Lade and Adam Uze are also in the running to replace Ben Rutten. Well, Collingwood tall Mason Cox is crediting coach Craig McRae for turning his season around. The American was dropped after the Pies lost to Brisbane in round 5. Cox says an honest conversation with the coach saw him earn his spot back by round 10.
Craig and I had a dinner together, sat down, talked about a few different things from that dinner and then another meeting at the club and stuff about where the future lied, and I had to go back and play in the twos and then kind of get back into form and get to where I'm at today. So I think that upfront, honest conversation with the relationship we had is probably what's kind of credited to me to be able to, I guess, play out throughout the rest of this year and be.
To cricket now, Australian all-rounder Glenn Maxwell is backing Aaron Finch to turn his form around for next month's home 2020 World Cup. The opener has retired from one-day cricket, having averaged just 12 this year. Maxwell says Finch is a great leader.
We know that when he gets going, it's going to be exciting to watch, and to have the World Cup in our home conditions, we know he plays so well in Australia, and we're looking forward to him having a big tournament.
And it's now full-time in European Champions League action this morning. Manchester City coming from a goal down to beat Borussia Dortmund 2-1, while Chelsea was held to a 1-1 draw at home against Salzburg. Ange Postecoglou's Celtic also playing out a 1-1 draw against Shakhtar Donetsk. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Buy an orthopaedic model queen-size mattress for only $999 at Elite Bedding, South Road, Edwardstown.
Showers developing 18 for your Thursday. Showers tomorrow 15. Saturday showers and 15. Right now it's 9 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Gallop in for Beaumont's massive bathroom catalogue sale with never-to-be-repeated prices and heaps of freebies, like a free bath caddy with Decina baths or a free loo with our complete bathroom packages. With up to 25% off, don't miss Beaumont's massive bathroom catalogue sale.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube.
Nothing beats a road trip, so before you do the fun stuff, let RAA do the car stuff.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
23 minutes to 7. Coming up after 7 o'clock this morning, Matt Abraham will join us. We'll dissect the spin of the last week. We have, it is being a Thursday, a Smeg appliance to give away in the last hour of the program this morning. Tom Burlinson will be on the show. And also, We are one clue closer to giving away tickets, flights and accommodation to the AFL Grand Final. Lots of people out there claiming they don't need this next clue. We'll give it to you anyway, and your chance to win is coming up after 8 o'clock today. Let's head to the UK. Vincent McAviney's been our man in London, albeit I think he belongs to about 15 different networks at the moment, right across the globe. I've seen him everywhere. He's doing wonderful work. Vincent, appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Hi, thanks very much.
Vincent, I said at the start of this morning's program, and other listeners called in saying they did the same thing, I could not stop watching the television last night. It's just an extraordinary spectacle.
It was incredible, that final return for the Queen from Scotland being thrown by, Princess Anne, who's been pretty diligent daughter over the past couple of days, doing that 6-hour car journey with her mother's coffin from Balmoral to Edinburgh, and then seeing her and her brother standing guard as well, and then flying back. And then it was an absolutely pouring night in London, but it created this sort of incredible sheen and light across the city. People pulled their cars over, compiled out onto the streets to line them and turn the torches on their phones to guide Her Majesty the Queen back to Buckingham Palace. She was in a special hearse that had been designed in part by her, and part of that design was to make sure that it was internally well lit. And the coffin with the standard on top was clear, and she was clapped back home to Buckingham Palace for a final night there with her family before the events which have taken place while you guys were sleeping today. But there was a procession on foot and with horse carriage from Buckingham Palace down the Mall, through Horse Guards Parade, past Downing Street and to the Palace of Westminster, where she will now lie in state until 6:30 a.m. on the morning of the funeral on Monday. And already I can tell you there is about a 6-mile queue of people in London going 24 hours a day now to queue to get into the Palace of Westminster to pay their respects.
Extraordinary.
It is remarkable to watch it all unfold, Vincent. So what's the number? What's the number they're expecting to ultimately pass through Westminster Hall?
Well, it's very hard to judge this. They think that when the Queen Mother passed away, so that was the last line to say like this, there were around sort of 225,000 to 250,000 people. What they're expecting this time is that it could be as many as 750,000. There is an expectation as well that Monday could potentially be the busiest day in London's history, with lots of people wanting to come. But also the biggest security operation the UK has probably ever seen. You have maybe north of 100 world leaders and monarchs coming, including, of course, President Joe Biden, pretty much all the G7 leaders, perhaps even the Emperor of Japan coming. It is going to be an absolutely mammoth security operation.
We read some polling data yesterday, Vincent, where at regular intervals, people in England had been asked what they expected of Prince Charles then, when he would become king. Would he make a good king, I think, was the simple construction of the question. And generally, over the course of the last 4 or 5 years, it's knocked around somewhere between 32 and about 39% of people saying yes. The poll was just done again, and it's jumped up to about 62% of people think he'll make a good king. Do you detect that talking to people? There's been an appreciable change in the way in which people talk about and engage with King Charles?
I think there has been a shift. I think on the address that he gave on Friday night, I think he really landed that. And obviously he's had decades to think about this period and this transition. But he, of course, went through deep periods of unpopularity. Think about the 90s, the dissolution of the marriage with Diana and then her death. There were so many questions around this and what would happen. But there has been a sort of reconstruction of his image over recent years. Part of it is that a lot of the stuff that he talked about for so long, which was, unhip and uncool, he was right when it came to a lot of climate issues, and he was ahead of the curve. And I think many people are respecting him now for that, for sticking to his guns on it. He has said himself in that speech on Friday that he will, step back from that kind of overt campaigning and be more of the monarch. He knows that that's for the younger generations to do. I think people are impressed by how he's handled this. And I think people didn't quite clock as well. I think there was a lot of people, when I talked to people abroad or, other journalists from overseas, and they would ask questions about it, they sort of said, isn't there going to be a big debate? Won't they skip a generation when the Queen goes to wills and takes? They're so much more popular. The way the system works is the second that the Queen passed away, you didn't have to wait for the coronation. Charles just became king. There was no sort of, there's no gap there. That's how this transition works. That's how it's designed to make it as smooth as possible. Some would say in the Republican side, as unthinking as possible to keep it just going and seem natural. But he is now, he is the king. It's taken a while to get used to say that on air and not keep calling him Prince Charles. But yeah, he is now King Charles III, and he is for the foreseeable future. I know that you guys are, you have a prime minister that's quite keen on a republic and might have once again a referendum soon. I mean, there is no, given the past decade of referendums in the UK, there is no appetite to have another one, and particularly not on this issue.
You're right, Vincent, about our Prime Minister being keen on Australia becoming a republic, but he has been the opposite of keen to even go near canvassing it in the past week, and has actually come out and told some of the Republicans to basically pull their heads in and stop talking about it, because there's no appetite here. Now, there's no mainstream appetite for people to cravenly use this as an opportunity to resuscitate Republican talk. Indeed, one of the more lefty politicians here, Adam Banter, who's the leader of the Greens Party, he wrote a tweet just 4 hours after Her Majesty died saying it's time for a republic. It was a sort of mealy-mouthed commiserations to the Queen, but it's now time for a republic, and it's now time for a treaty with our Indigenous peoples. And I reckon he's running at about 98% of the country thinking he's a tasteless jerk for saying it.
Yeah, I think there was a bit of a reaction here as well. I think it was Barbuda, or I think it was Antigua and Barbuda their Prime Minister came out within sort of 24 hours and said he was going to have the referendum. And I think there is a bit of a feeling of, can we not just get through this period first? So there are obviously issues and things that have to be dealt with, but I think many people just think, after 70 years of service, and particularly, she never got a retirement. She was very clear that she was never going to kind of abdicate and try and pass on. She was going to work until her final day, and she did that. And so I think people just think of a mark of respect, someone who did, when she went on that tour, when she was 21 to South Africa and gave that speech, I pledged my whole life, however, long it may be. She did, in fact, give her whole life. And so I think there is, a feeling, particularly in this country, I think I anticipated actually that there would be heavier public Republican discussion, and from the official Republic campaign, as much as there is one here, they, though, have decided that they won't do anything until after the funeral. So we might see a spike in that in the coming weeks. But I think people here are just very much thinking that it's right and proper to pay respects to someone who, and I think particularly during the past couple of years in the pandemic, she had a difficult time with Andrew and the Sussexes, but she did really step up in the pandemic in a way that endeared her to, I think, many, many people.
Absolutely. Great stuff, as always, Vincent McAviney, our UK correspondent, working for so many different media organisations, covering one of the biggest events in world history. Thank you again for your
He's so good
analysis.
at what he does. That's why. That's
exactly right.
It's 15 to 7. We'll check traffic and come back with police and weather in just a moment.
Thanks, Will. Roads looking pretty good if you're up early heading into work today. There'll be some works to keep in mind at Fullerton. Intersection works are continuing crossroad at Fullerton Road. In the city, works are continuing to upgrade selected roads in the East Parklands. That includes Bartels Road and also Hutt Street. Busy right now. South Road, you're driving through Mile End, and a couple of cameras to look out for. Got one Old South Road, Old Ranella, and keep your eye out for another one, South Terrace in the city. Dwayne Johnson and Kevin Hart are back on the big screen in the hilarious adventure DC League of Super Pets. Don't miss DC League of Super Pets in cinemas now. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Wait! We remembered RAA road service, the new battery and tyres.
Yeah, we did.
But we forgot the tent.
Cabin.
Before you do the fun stuff, let RAA take care of the car stuff and keep
on moving on.
Final. We're calling all North Adelaide fans to head to Adelaide Oval this Sunday to support the Roosters as they take on Norwood in the 2022 Host Plus SANFL League Grand Final from 3 p.m. Make sure you're there to fill the stadium with red and white and help get them over the line against Norwood. Tickets from Ticketek. Visit sanfl.com.au/finals for more info. The Host Plus SANFL League Grand Final. Nothing beats it.
Now, do you have a space in your shed, your workshop, or around the home that is begging to become storage space?
We'll get on to Sharman Shelving. They love turning any space into a storage space. It'll look good too.
Will it ever? Mine is coming up for 3 years old. Still looks like it's brand new, and it's outside in the elements, and it looks terrific. Bill or Christine, they'll come to your home, your office, your workshop, your shed, or in my case, the backyard, to measure it up, design, deliver and assemble the perfect storage solution in a great range of colours.
Goodbye space, hello storage space, and you don't have to lift a finger either. It's all done for you. In fact, the only finger you'll lift is the one you're going to lift to say, that's where I want it, over there.
That's right, just point. When it comes to storage solutions, everybody needs a little shaman in their life. Call into the showroom at 412 North East Road. I can spend hours in there, it's great. 412 North East Road, Windsor Gardens, that is. Visit shamanshelving.com.au. They sell barbecues and pizza ovens too. Or take a look on Facebook.
APIA's offering a 10% discount on new comprehensive car or home insurance. Because the more you save, the more you can enjoy retirement. Like taking salsa classes. That's APIA value. Call APIA today on 13 50 50 to discover even more ways to save. T's and C's apply. Offer available until 30 October 22. Some optional extras excluded from discount. APIA is an authorised representative of AAI Limited, the product issuer. Read the PDS before buying this insurance. Call for copy. TMD also available.
Introducing Nissan Future Value Business Plus, a new fleet finance solution for small to medium businesses offering competitive weekly repayments, including the cost of scheduled servicing for the loan term. Available now on the Nissan Navara SL 4x4 dual cab auto with more models to come. Plan confidently for the road ahead with Nissan Future Value Business Plus. Visit nissan.com.au/business plus or contact your local Nissan dealer. Approved ABN registered small to medium fleet applicants of Nissan Financial Services. T's and C's and exclusions apply.
9 News has the experience to break the news. Made in Adelaide for Adelaide. 9 News.
Nothing beats a road trip, so before you do the fun stuff, let RAA do the car stuff.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
11 to 7. Let's talk about the weather today. The moment the sun comes up, you think it might be all right today. Wrong. Tom Bowick, Senior Forecaster at the Bureau, will tell us all about it. Morning to you, Tom.
G'day, Dave and Will.
What do we got coming up on Thursday? Feels like we've got a wall of rain for about the next 4 days.
Look, I think for a fair bit of the day today, it actually isn't going to be too bad. So get out there, enjoy some sunshine if you can at this point in time. There's a bit of cloud on the hills at the moment. I think you'll see that sort of burn off, but there'll be some sun at first today. So, probably up until about early to mid-afternoon when we do have another frontal system coming through. So, some dry weather up until then, but after that, we'll see some showers developing again. And look, maximum temperature up to 18 degrees, so that's not too bad. Same for Elizabeth. We've got 17 for Glenelg and Noarlunga, 16 degrees for Mount Barker. So, get out there soon if you can, sort of thing. So then on to Friday, we do have a low-pressure system moving to the south. We'll see some of those showers continuing there for Friday, maximum of 15 degrees. A similar day coming up for Saturday, also 15 degrees. The showers probably tending to ease later in the afternoon there. And just a shower or two left for Sunday, 16 degrees. It is warming up next week, though. For Monday, we have a maximum of 21 degrees. Looks like being a dry day there as well. 20 degrees for next Tuesday. There is another change moving across, though, so expect to see some showers redeveloping on Tuesday, and then easing back to a possible shower next Wednesday around 18 degrees, guys.
Good stuff, Tom. Turn off your sprinklers, folks. No need to waste any water over the next week.
Senior Constable Peter Williams from Sapole joins us. Peter, 3 men have been arrested after robbery at Para Hills overnight.
Morning, guys. That's right. Just after 9 o'clock last night, police responded to a petrol station on Bridge Road at Para Hills after 3 men had entered the store, verbally threatening staff and demanding cash. The 3 men left the store shortly after the staff had handed over some of the cash from the till. No one was physically injured during this incident. Police patrols that were responding to the incident located 3 men matching the description given by witnesses on Montague Road, a short distance away. Police will allege these are the 3 males involved in the robbery. A search of these men resulted in cash believed to have been stolen from the petrol station being located on one of the males. 2 of the men, a 19-year-old from Ingle Farm and a 19-year-old from Craigmore, have been charged with aggravated robbery and refused bail. They will appear in the Elizabeth Magistrates Court later today. And a 3rd man, a 21-year-old from Adelaide, is also being charged with aggravated robbery, and he's been bailed to a later date at Elizabeth Magistrates Court.
Peter, also a teenager has been arrested in a stolen car at Elizabeth North.
That's right. So just after 1 a.m. This morning, police were called to a hotel on Woodford Road, Elizabeth North, after a staff member noticed a child driving a car through a car park. The silver Toyota Hilux was last seen on Whitsbury Road, and checks had revealed that the car was stolen from a Clearview address back on the 11th of September. About 10 minutes later, police spotted that same car on Woodford Road and then saw it turn onto Main North Road and followed it for a distance on Main North Road. The car was then seen driving through a red light at the intersection of Midway Road and then onto the incorrect side of Main North Road. They attempted to spike the vehicle but were unsuccessful before the car turned onto Park Terrace and then onto Waterloo Corner Road, where it was lost sight of. Police then located the vehicle a short time later on Langford Terrace, and the driver attempted to run from the car but was arrested a short distance away without incident. The 14-year-old boy from Elizabeth Park's been charged with illegal use, driving at speed dangerous to the public and driving unlicensed. He's been granted bail to appear in the Elizabeth Youth Court on the 14th of October, and the vehicle has been returned to its owner.
14-year-old driving a stolen Hilux.
Yep.
He'd be lucky to see over the steering wheel.
Probably would have needed a stepladder to get in.
Yeah, he said, well, I've had Hilux for about 6 years, and getting the kids in is, you just have to lift them up. That's extraordinary. Unbelievable.
It is.
And also, a car was stolen in the city after another robbery, Peter.
That's right. So just after midnight this morning, victim was sitting in his Nissan Pulsar sedan parked on O'Brien Street in the CBD when a blue hatchback vehicle stopped next to him. A man got out of that car and threatened the victim with a knife before demanding the keys to the victim's car. The men then got into the victim's Pulsar sedan and left the area, last seen heading south on O'Brien Street. The victim wasn't physically injured during the incident, and police searched the immediate area but unable to locate either of the vehicles. And then later in the morning, just after 1:30, police tracked some of the property that was in the stolen vehicle and located it abandoned on Fairley Drive at Flagstaff Hill. The vehicle has been seized for forensic examination, and police are continuing to investigate the robbery. So anyone who may have witnessed the incident or may have information to assist police in this investigation is asked to contact Crime Stoppers.
Good stuff, Peter.
Thank you, Peter. Senior Constable Peter Williams from SAPOL.
Bit of a packed dance card there for the police.
Busy.
We don't normally have that
No.
much mayhem overnight.
No, that's a lot. That's a bad night in Adelaide. It is it's a bad period if you don't like being swooped by magpies. It's well and truly magpie swooping season at the moment. Not many times though it's been captured quite like this in Queensland on the Gold Coast. A cyclist managed to capture vision of himself being attacked, but he had the wherewithal and the awareness to commentate the entire event. Here's the video that he posted online.
Hey, that was a good one. Thank you, mister. Go for it. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. I feel like it was a missed opportunity for Stephen Rowe, who was swooped by a magpie the other day. He actually drew blood. But Rowe calling the magpie attack actually would have been something pretty... would have been exceptional. That would have been the most viral of viral videos. I wish he could redo it. Can he redub his own attack of the magpie? I'd listen to the hell out of that. That'd be great. It was played on 9 News last night as well.
I played golf a couple of weeks ago at Flagstaff Hill, and I think it was about halfway through, so it was about the 9th or 10th hole, and the mate of mine that I was playing with, we were being lazy. We'd hired a buggy because we wanted to get round in reasonably good time. But he'd bought himself one of those pre-made sandwiches, and we were sort of pitching up onto the green on this hole, and there's that beautiful warbling sound of all these magpies in this row of gum trees. But then because we're in the buggy, about 8 of them just surrounded the buggy, and they were just on the grass, right at our feet, just like staring at us. Like, come on, we know you got something. So my mate got out to play his shot, and then he turned around, and I was about 20 metres away and heard this, hey! The magpies, the moment he left the buggy, they just swooped inside the buggy. They went straight into the little cabin, knowing that that's where you'd keep your food and your drinks and everything else, ripped open the plastic container, and ate his sandwich in record time. Ate his whole sandwich.
They are super intelligent, which makes them all the more scary.
Hey, that was a good one. Go for it. Yeah, go for it.
It's like a ballet in nature, isn't it?
Hey, I should say a special g'day and a thank you to one of our listeners, Adrian, who lives right next to the Flagstaff Hill Golf Course. Because remember I jokingly said to Simon Timke, I say you were teeing off at 10 past 12 at Flagstaff Hill, what would the weather be like? Well, this bloke Adrian, he came out with a bag of retrieved balls that he just fished out of his front yard, probably 50 golf balls. And he said, take these, you probably need them on the 7th, which is the par 3 where you've got to hit over this massive lake. And he was right, I lost 2 balls on that hole.
Well, you
lost a few more elsewhere.
You've come out ahead.
But keen 5AA Brekkie listener, and his daughter owns that excellent giftware store, Flourish,
Beautiful.
in McGill and Hyde Park.
A reminder, you can watch along on the Facebook and YouTube live stream thanks to our great friends at the RAA. Can I read to you just very quickly before we go to news, the most befuddling thing I've seen in the newspapers today? The Australian reporting on changes to the Reserve Bank, given that they may have just slightly mispredicted what the future of interest rates would be. There is calls for a review, which sounds promising. One of the things that they're looking at doing is revealing who votes for interest rate rises and who doesn't on the Reserve Bank board. So you get a sense of who's most right, who's been doing... I kind of think a bit of transparency is fair, because I can look up what Sam Berry's disposal efficiency was at about 9 seconds. I'm not sure why the people that determine the future of the economy are hidden from that kind of scrutiny. So I think that's good.
Is clangers going to be a category?
Well, they've had a few, but this is my favourite. I just need... This is great. This is a comment from this excellent piece in the Australian. The review, which is aimed at modernising Australia's independent central bank, will examine its board structure and membership and whether the responsibility for interest rate decisions should be hived off to a separate board staffed with monetary policy experts and professional economists. Sorry? Who are the idiots that have been doing it? I thought they were the special board full of economists and experts.
I was under that impression too.
What? Who have we had doing our interest rates all this time? If you go to Philip Lowe's bio on the website, it says he holds a PhD from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT, and a BCom with honours in economics and econometrics.
Well, that suggests a degree of economic literacy.
I would have thought he's the guy, isn't he? I love the idea that we should get some experts to start handling this.
See, I worry that the new committee could become the sort of foil for future stuff. I was like,
the committee.
Those guys.
Who do they know? What do they know? Anyway, I read that 5 times this morning thinking, what the hell? 7:50.
The passing of someone close places unique stress on family and friends. At this time, Farrell and O'Neill Funerals are here to provide reassurance and peace of mind. Farrell and O'Neill offer creative guidance and advice to tailor a service that best honours your loved one. Whether a large gathering or a small, intimate service, Farrell and O'Neill share their generations of experience in tailoring a unique and meaningful farewell. Proudly SA family-owned and operated, because it's personal.
It isn't waste until you waste it. That's the catch cry from an amazing company called Eco Waste Solutions. Eco Waste Solutions is a hard waste recycling facility, not a dump, located at Williston. They'll take everything except hazardous waste and food scraps. They'll take your waste bricks, your mattresses, tyres, soil, timber, steel, concrete and more. Plus, if you pre-sort your load, you'll receive a 50% discount on disposal fees. Google Eco Waste Solutions Williston for more.
At Elders Insurance, our support for our local community is hands-on. From local football to your favourite events, we give back in the ways that matter most to you. And because we live and work where you do, we can take the time to get to know you and your needs, as well as our community. Find your local agent at eldersinsurance.com.au or call 13 56 22. Elders Insurance is underwritten by QBE. Visit eldersinsurance.com.au to read the PDS and TMD to decide if this product is right for you.
Introducing the all-new Kia Niro, available as a hybrid or full electric model. This SUV is smarter than your average car, featuring Kia Connect technology. Take control of your Niro with your smartphone. Cold out? Turn up the heat before you get in. Forgot where you parked? Relax. The app will lead the way. The all-new Kia Niro in hybrid or all-electric. It's smarter than your average car.
Kia, movement that inspires.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. Online, on DAB Digital Radio and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Showers developing 18 today with the 7 o'clock news. I'm Mel Usher.
The X in Physio Extra stands for X Factor, keeping you on the field during the finals. PhysioExtra.com.
The sound of the Queen's journey from Buckingham Palace to Westminster overnight. Large crowds watched on as Her Majesty's coffin was transported on a gun carriage to the hall where she'll lie in state for 4 days. The new King leading a group of royal family members during the procession, including his heir William and siblings the Princess Royal, Prince Andrew and the Earl of Wessex. The queue of people lining up to pay their respects to the Queen continues to grow. Clinton Maynard reports.
Focus is now turning to the formal period of lying in state in Westminster Hall. On the top of the Queen's coffin is the imperial crown. Londoners, some who'd slept at the front of the queue for 2 nights, have been the first to file past. Some bow their heads and others shed tears. The queue is moving steadily, but many have waited 6 hours, and that length could grow over the next 4 days.
It's hard to estimate how many people will pay their respects in person between now and Monday morning local time. UK correspondent Vincent McAviney has told David and Will what it could be.
They think that when the Queen Mother passed away, that was the last lying state like this, there were around sort of 225,000 to 250,000 people. What they're expecting this time is that it could be as many as 750,000.
Well, the new King has had his first phone call with his representative in Australia. Charles Croucher has more.
In a call last night, the Governor-General passed on the condolences of Australia to King Charles III. In a statement, David Hurley said the King reflected his admiration and affection for the people of Australia. It was one of multiple calls from heads of state to Buckingham Palace, including Joe Biden, who praised the Queen's kindness, dignity and constancy. The Governor-General and Prime Minister will fly out today to attend the Queen's funeral on Monday.
To other news, there's been a carjacking in the city. It happened on O'Brien Street just after midnight. The Pulsar was located 90 minutes later, abandoned in Flagstaff Hill. The vehicle has been seized for forensic examination and police are continuing to investigate the robbery. 3 men have been arrested following a service station hold-up at Para Hills. The outlet on Bridge Road was targeted just after 9 last night. The trio verbally threatened staff and demanded cash. They left on foot with an amount of money. The group, all aged 19, were picked up nearby and 2 will front court today. The World Health Organisation says a dramatic drop in the number of new COVID cases means the end of the pandemic is now in sight. New infections are at their lowest since March 2020, but WHO Chief Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus warns failure to seize the opportunity will lead to more variants and further deaths.
Last week, the number of weekly reported deaths from COVID-19 was the lowest since March 2020. We have never been in a better position to end the pandemic. We're not there yet, but the end is in sight.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
New Mitsubishi Triton with 10-year warranty, 10-year capped price servicing at Agostino Mitsubishi, Nailsworth and Elizabeth.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. James Hird is on the short list to be Essendon's next coach. Eddie Summerfield reports.
James Hird was interviewed by Essendon yesterday to coach the Bombers next year. Hird returned to an AFL coach's box this season as an assistant to Giants interim Mark McVeigh. The 49-year-old led the Bombers through the supplement saga, agreeing to a 12-month suspension in 2013 for conduct prejudicing the game. The Brownlow medalist returned in 2015 only to resign after round 20, at the time saying the club needed clean air from the scandal.
I hope that me going enables the club to get some space.
The Bombers also spoke with Adam Uze and Brendan Lage yesterday for the top job.
Meantime, Ben Long is poised to leave St Kilda during the upcoming trade period. The 25-year-old utility has told the Saints he wants to join Gold Coast. To soccer, Macarthur FC has thrashed Victorian NPL side Oakley Cannons 5-2 in the Australia Cup semi-finals. The Bulls will now play against Sydney United in the final on the 1st of October. Meantime, in European Champions League action, Manchester City has enjoyed a 2-1 win against Borussia Dortmund, while Chelsea played out a 1-1 draw against Salzburg. Spanish golfer Jon Rahm is denying reports he's decided to jump ship from the PGA to the LIV Tour. And Aussie Bernard Tomic has won a tournament in Cancun in a result that will see him jump about 150 spots in the world rankings, up to about 650. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Roads are working well this morning. If you're heading in, just simply some roadworks to look out for. At Fullerton, you'll find intersection works continuing crossroad at Fullerton Road, speeds at 40. In the city, works are continuing upgrading various roads through the East Parklands, including Bartels Road and East Terrace. Quite busy at the moment, Tapley's Hill Road at West Beach. And look out for cameras today, Barnes Road, Glynn, and Patapinda Road at Old Noongar. The ICC Men's T20 World Cup is coming to Adelaide in October. Adults from $20, kids from just $5. Tickets at t20worldcup.com. T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA weather.
Buy an orthopedic model queen-size mattress for only $999 at Elite Bedding, South Road, Edwardstown.
Heading for a top of 18 today, showers developing, showers tomorrow 15, Saturday showers and 15. Right now it's 9 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Nothing beats a road trip, so before you do the fun stuff, let RAA do the car stuff.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
7 minutes after 7, the sun is up. That doesn't mean there's anything good on the way, though, unfortunately, as you've just heard with Mel Usher at 5AA News.
Will's breathing a massive sigh of relief because the giant cloud of fog appears to have disappeared for now.
Well, it's almost as though all that heavy industry to which you're referring to on the hills never existed. Coming up after 7:30, Matt Abraham on the program.
Lighten up, Goodings.
It's not my go, man. It's not my bag, baby. Now, the other thing that's happening today, and we're getting tweets about it and calls and texts incessantly, is that people think they know who the AFL player who's got their ticket is. I will just say this, for the benefit of our wonderful producers, Lucy and Sam. Just calling them and shouting at them is not going to win you the tickets, whether you're right or wrong. So wait, there'll be another clue and there'll be another chance to win the AFL Grand Final tickets a little bit later in the morning. But people are so frustrated, they've just now taken just calling randomly and yelling it.
Yeah. Look, it's understandable, but how many thousands of people would there be ringing at any given time? There'd be at least 1,000.
Oh, well,
probably more.
There's only people will know they struggle. They'll start not being able to get through because there's only so many lines that the computer system can take. So, yeah, it's going to be like that. It's going to be like that a little bit later in the morning when we have a chance to win. There have been thousands of people, of mourners, that have been paying their respects to Queen Elizabeth as she lies in state in Westminster Hall. She was brought in a procession from Buckingham Palace. We've got some lovely text on the Automasters text line for people who are watching that a little bit earlier. Princes William and Harry, along with King Charles III, walked behind the coffin. Guns were fired in Hyde Park, and Big Ben told every minute in the sombre ceremony. Amazing to watch too. The people file in, observe the coffin, have a moment with it, and then they spoke on Today a little bit earlier.
Terribly moving. You walk past, and it was wonderful seeing all the soldiers and the policemen standing there, so still, but sorry. But when we came back, stopped us by the coffin, that's when it really hit us. We bowed our heads and we blew her a kiss. It was amazing and moving, and I hope lots of people come to see it, because I think it's a great way of paying great respect to a wonderful woman.
Just to give you a sense of how long this queue of humanity paying its respects to the late Queen is, 2.4 miles. This is currently, this is what it stands at the moment, bearing in mind that it's going to grow as the Queen lies in state there until the funeral on Monday. But it's currently 2.4 miles long. That's the way it's being reported, obviously.
Almost 4 Ks.
So that's 3.8 kilometres.
Yep.
That is the equivalent in Adelaide of people queuing from us here in Hindmarsh Square to Schnella's on Prospect Road. Or heading south, it's the equivalent of people queuing from here in Hindmarsh Square to the Goodwood Orphanage on the corner of Goodwood Road and Mitchell Street.
That is unbelievable.
Imagine seeing that.
It moves pretty quickly, but yeah, you're starting a long way back, and the back of the line grows all the time. So who knows what it is at the moment? There's some pretty remarkable pictures online as we speak. Back here in Australia, pandemic leave payments have been again the subject of scrutiny from the federal government. They will continue for as long as COVID ISO remains mandatory, but there are now new rules surrounding eligibility. Here is the Prime Minister.
The payment will remain available for as long as mandatory isolation periods are applied by all states and territories. 3 payments over a period of 6 months would be the maximum.
So 3 payments over 6 months. Beyond that, you're not just unlucky. There's a suggestion you might be taking the mick if you are suggesting that, like the Prime Minister said in that press conference yesterday, some people said they've had COVID 5 times in that period.
5 times.
Seems unlikely.
5 times?
Seems unlikely.
It is. This whole pandemic thing, like, the last thing you want to get is long COVID or repeated cases of COVID. There would have to be a few people, though, who are milking it for all it's worth.
Yes.
Because it's tailor-made for that.
Inevitably.
There's always a certain percentage of the population that are malingerers, and it's a great time to be alive if you're a malingerer.
Now, local government have clearly they've declared war this year, not on unsightly verges or on inappropriate rubbish collection or God knows what else, but instead they've declared war on kids-made skate tracks. We've got another one. I think it's the third one we've been able to report on.
Yeah.
This one in Edwardstown.
Well, there was one Charles Sturt Council a couple of weeks ago.
In Grange?
Yep, the one in Grange that was taken down. Now, this time, it's not actually the local government sector, but the state government that has decided to tear one down. It's in Edwardstown, and there's a group of kids and teenagers that have spent hours building a unofficial Edwardstown BMX track that currently sits along the train line on Railway Terrace. So, because it's on the land near the train line, it's the Department of Transport. Now, the Messenger has done a great job on this story. They've spoken to a mum, Beck Morris, and her 2 sons, who are aged 9 and 7, who have spent many weekends riding their bikes on this track. Now, the Messenger rang the Department of Transport for a comment and gave them 2 days to explain to the Messenger the reason for bulldozing the bike park. But the department, which would be not short on press secretaries, they didn't even bother answering the questions. Now, reminds me a bit of the Mount Gambier market, telling the kid he's not allowed to sell lemons. Who are the miserable, po-faced, collection of coloured biros in their pocket, sad sack bureaucrats who actually make these decisions? Who is the... Talk about pulling the wings off butterflies. Who are the joyless souls?
It's come to our attention that there's a group of children who have designed an unauthorised structure on Railway Terrace in Edwardstown. It is non-compliant with the occupational health and safety bylaws, and it must be dismantled as a matter of urgency.
Meanwhile, we've got an obesity crisis. We got kids stuck on PlayStations and iPads and playing Fortnite. And
well, I got to. It's time we stop blaming kids for being stuck in home, and it's time for the adults in our community to start looking at ourselves as well. Because what's the message to every kid? What's the message to a kid who actually shows the wherewithal to build a little skate ramp and go and use it and gets told, no, that's getting demolished? What's the message to the kid that wants to go and use the diving board at Nord? There's never been an incident since 1812, and oh no, that's too dangerous. What's the message to the kid that says I want to sell lemons at Mount Gambier Market? Like, what role? Adults are complicit in a generation of kids sitting behind PlayStations
100%.
And playing games. We just stop saying this is all the kids. Well, they don't got to go out and play like they did in our day. Who created that? The kids didn't unionise.
No,
they got told it repeatedly.
You know what I'm
These
going to
sorts
do?
of stories tell them that.
As an exercise, I've got my old man's collection of wonder books, the wonder books of things to do. And it was these books came out in the 1930s and 40s. I reckon a lot of our listeners would have the wonder books of things to do. There's an omnibus edition, which was actually released a few years ago, but it's got things in it like how to make your own. Get some planks and some nails and some hammers and make yourself a ramp. I actually think it's amazing you can still get the book legally. The sort of people who work at
maybe not.
I reckon more than half of the activities in there, things like how to catch bees. Oh, don't catch bees. You might go into anaphylactic shock. I mean, it's just pathetic mollycoddling. Yeah, and all of these things are based on perceived dangers, regardless. And to your point about the Nord diving board, the thing's been there for almost a century. No one's ever been injured.
Well,
that's not to say it won't happen.
This skate track's been around for a year, I think.
Yeah,
I read the article. I didn't see. It doesn't sound like there's been any near misses.
What a pack of miserable sods they are. But what were the things you did as a kid? We growing up behind the Marion Hotel, which, believe it or not, when I was a kid, it was actually, there was so much vacant land around there because Marion was all almond groves and vineyards for so long. There was still, you could actually get down to Sturt Creek through the back way, which is now the caravan park there on Sturt Road. There were vast open areas. And me and some mates in primary school, we made a bike track on a vacant lot about 2 streets away from the back car park of the Marion. And we had a great time. We go there after school. We modified our bikes. We put like big chopper handlebars on them and all this stuff. It was sensational fun.
Let us know, folks. 8223 You can text us on the Automasters text line as well. The things you did growing up as a kid. Maybe if you want to take it a step further, things you got to do having fun as a kid that you definitely wouldn't be allowed to do these days. Because I reckon that's probably just about everything. 8223 Love to hear from you. It's 17 after 7. We're going to check traffic and come back in just a moment.
Thanks, Will. She's pretty smooth sailing for the drive-in today. Certainly some works to keep in mind at Fullerton. Intersection works there. They're continuing crossroad at Fullerton Road. Speeds at 40. In the city, selected roads are getting upgraded in the East Parklands. That's including to Kettle Terrace and Bartels Road. We're quite busy at the moment. Tapley's Hill Road at West Beach. And look out for a few cameras. Barnes Road, Glen. And keep your eyes peeled for another one. Gage Street at Firle. Harrow Scarf's Red Hot 4-day sale starts today. Enjoy massive discounts on homewares, Manchester Electrical, clothing and more. Great brands at great prices. Sale ends Sunday at Harrow Scarf. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Leon Biner.
Let's talk about the AMBOs. We've got a ramping problem in SA with AMBOs, as you know. What do we need to do to improve the response times? Let's talk to the ambulance employees. Rob Leaney, is it straight arithmetic that we just don't have enough of them?
9 till 12 weekdays.
We don't have enough AMBOs. That's one part of the problem. The other part of the problem is the ramping problem, which ties our crews up at the hospital, unable to offload their patients.
SSA as Leon Biner. SSA as AA.
Don't say we didn't warn you. 85% of tickets in the Hospital Research Foundation Home Lottery have already been sold. Don't miss your chance to win the ultimate grand prize in Somerton Park. Resort-style pool, fully furnished and just metres from the beach. It could all be yours. But with over 85% of tickets already sold, you'd better get in quick. Join the fight and get your tickets today. homelottery.com.au. Licence M14227.
G'day, it's Mark Bickley. Schools, councils and businesses all over South Australia choose Leader Computers for very important reasons. Leader is local and exceptional value. No matter what happens, Leader can be on site to fix your problem. No overseas or interstate call centres to deal with. Plus, Leader Computers is a 100% owned and operated South Australian company, offering fast same-day delivery and setup. That's why so many organisations rely on Leader. Google Leader Computers to find your closest Leader reseller.
There are some promises we just can't keep. Like, one day we'll take the whole family to Disneyland. Or, I'll definitely start my fitness regime tomorrow. At Bob Burns Blinds, we have a promise we always keep. It's our 10-day installation promise. Unlike others, our quality roller blinds are made right here in SA, not interstate. So instead of waiting 3 months or more for your roller blinds, we'll do it in 10 days. And that's a promise. bobburnsblinds.com.au.
If you want to build a new home, something that reflects you and your lifestyle, then you really need to speak with Beechwood Homes. And just so you know, they won't try and sell you a house plan. In fact, there's no house plans until you tell them what you want. So go for it. Start thinking of all the possibilities or get in touch with Beechwood Homes for a few thought starters. Life's good. It's even better in a Beechwood home. Google Beechwood Adelaide.
At Steinborner, it's always been well worth the trip. Now we're evolving to include Steinborner Electric, where it's well worth the trip to the future. With Hyundai, Kona Extended Range, Ioniq Electric and Ioniq 5. Mitsubishi Eclipse Cross Plug-in Hybrid, all-new Outlander Plug-in Hybrid, Ford Escape PHEV and E-Transit. And now the new Benzina Zero Electric scooters and mopeds. Thinking electric vehicles? There's only one place to go. Steinborner Electric. It's well worth the trip to the future.
9 News has the experience to break the news. Made in Adelaide for Adelaide. 9 News.
Nothing beats a road trip, so before you do the fun stuff, let RAA do the car stuff.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
21 minutes after 7. Coming up after 7:30 this morning, Matt Abraham will join us. Lots of people calling in to talk about the sorts of fun they got up to as kids that'd probably most definitely be banned these days. Craig in Blackwood, good morning.
Good morning, guys. I used to live up at Seacombe Heights, and mates would gather from CV Downs and jump on our dragsters and get up the Darlington tracks and Bamboo Forest, and there were the days you could ride between Morford Road and South Road.
Yeah.
Change a bit.
Totally.
Yep.
Thank you, Craig.
A good youth spent well, Craig.
Let's go to Graham in Craigmore. Morning, Graham.
Good morning, Dave. Will, how you going?
Good, mate.
Thanks, Graham.
Yeah, just three things quickly if I could. Before Westmax was there, it was nothing but bush and sand hills. And some of those sand hills used to get up to about 100 foot high, so you'd have great lot of ravines in the bottom. When it would rain during winter and in spring, you would have big lakes in there, like 4 foot to 20 foot deep. And we used to go skinny dipping there all the time. It was fantastic.
Thank you, Graham. Mark's in Para Hills. What'd you get up to, Mark?
Mate, when we were teenagers, where the ASE is down there on the peninsula, we used to get on the old Morries and all that sort of caper, hang on for dear life. We were going over the bumps, sit on the bonnet, hanging on to the windscreen wipers or on the boot, hanging on for dear life.
Thank you, Mark. Let's go to Richmond. Stacey, good morning.
Good morning. I've got two things that I'd like to say.
Sure. Yeah, guys.
One, Brighton Jetty used to have a ramp at the end of it, and I couldn't swim, but we would, all my brothers and sisters and friends, we would jump off that ramp, and I would swim with my little foam surfboard back to the shore. And the other thing is, when we all played chasey at home, we would get on the rabbit and guinea pig cage, then onto the pigeon cage, onto the roof, and jump off onto the lawn just so we wouldn't get caught.
Thank you, Stacey. That's a lovely call. Scott and Glenunga, good morning.
Good morning, guys. I've got two. One you couldn't do because technology's changed, and one just because of stranger danger and stuff. So the first one, when I was at Port Augusta, Dad was in the police force, and we lived in a street in Port Augusta that probably half the houses in the street were police officers. So we used to be able to ride our bikes, even at like 8 years old, 7 years old, till like 9:30 at night, with no parents around, and you never thought that anything bad would happen. So that's one that you couldn't do now. And the other one, sort of like back in the day, everyone used to have a landline. And so, if you're on a phone call these days, if you get angry at someone, you don't get the satisfaction of slamming the phone down because you just press this little red button, which back in the day, you could slam the landline down.
Thank you, Scott. Well, we'll take one more. Peter in Woodville, good morning.
Morning. I was 14. Morning, boys. I was 14, and I used to walk from Brunswick Street into Light Square to sell football budgets of a morning. And in that era, there wasn't a light on in the street. There wasn't a light in the shop. You couldn't see your hand in front of you. And one morning I was shining the torch into hoofs and horns on Prospect Road. Police car pulled up. What are you doing, son? I said, I'm going into the sell football budgets. Later that day, I was selling them in Adelaide Oval near the Colonel Light, and he came up with his wife, and he remembered me, and he said, this is the boy I was telling you about. But to walk that, I did it for 2 seasons. It was pitch black of a morning.
Good on you, Peter. That's a great story. All right, who gets the $100 Uggs to You voucher, do we think?
I reckon let's give it to Stacey.
Yeah, Stacey, got
Jumping
$100
off the Brighton Jetty.
Uggs to You voucher coming your way. 25 after 7, let's turn our attention to sport. Last night on the sports show, Junior Rioli was the subject of conversation with his impending move to Port Adelaide. North Point overstocked with late model used cars for immediate delivery. It is the North Point way. And Timmy G had his say on whether Junior Rioli could well be the missing piece in the premiership puzzle.
Hey, Port have got their man, Junior Rioli. It's reportedly a 4-year deal over
$2 million. He's out of contract. He's picked the Crows. The deal needs to be done. So, Timmy G, what are you giving up? What's his worth? Is he the answer? Is he that final piece? We've heard this for 5 years.
No.
The final piece of that Port Adelaide premiership puzzle.
I don't like that term, and I've heard it since we went and got Paddy Ryder in 2015. It was like
I've heard it every year.
Final piece of the puzzle.
I've heard it every year.
We all know that it takes so much more than that to win a premiership. It's very difficult. But what I will say is we knew that we're short on small forwards now. He'll be the number one small forward if he can get fit and get on the park.
And the other two is Rosie and Butters are up in the midfield.
And Rosie and Butters
So
are
you
up in the
need a small
midfield, so you
forward.
need it. So there's no problems with the need. What they've got to do now is do a deal that they feel is fair and reasonable.
No doubt he'll look terrific, I think, playing for Port Adelaide next year. It would have been a pretty miserable experience trying to carve out your living as a small forward in the West Coast forward line for the past year. They have been absolutely miserable.
You don't really get to see the ball at all, do you?
No, that's right. Yeah, there's a real opportunity problem that he won't have at Port Adelaide. So I suspect he'll have a massive year when he gets across. That said, the deal still needs to be done. It will be done, but to make it official, that'll happen during the AFL's trade period following the AFL Grand Final, and there'll be plenty more to discuss on that point on the Sports Show, so make sure you listen to it. Great stuff from Timmy G there. North Point are overstocked with late model used cars ready for immediate delivery. It is the North Point way.
Electoral has manufactured and installed garage doors in SA since 1974, and their commitment to quality is as strong as ever. So if it's time for a new look for your house or time to upgrade, why not now? Order a new roller door, sectional door or customer designer door with operator by September 30th and you'll receive a free premium operator upgrade and 2 bonus handsets. For a free measure and quote and helpful advice, search Electoral today. Retail customers only, T's and C's apply.
If you're due for a service, here's a little reminder of what you get at Mawson Lakes Mazda. Sure, your car gets state-of-the-art servicing by top-trained mechanics. But what do you get? Try next day servicing, complimentary loan car, vacuum and wash. Oh, and your breakfast or lunch is on us. At Mawson Lakes Mazda, we know that to be the best, we've got to look after your car and look after you. Mawson Lakes Mazda, just a short drive from the city.
A fully serviced air conditioning system sounds like this. Unserviced sounds more like this. Now is the perfect time to book a pre-season service with Polar Air Heating and Cooling and put a freeze on your summer energy bill. Book your pre-season service today for the special price of just $150 and get your AC running as efficiently as possible. Keep your lair bearable with Polar Air Heating and Cooling. polarairhc.com.au.
With everything going on, it's tough to stay ahead. But you can always rely on a great Aussie shed to protect your tractor, boat or car, even turned into your very own bar. Somewhere to pile up your bales of hay or to escape with a block of clay. Whatever the plan for your Great Aussie Shed, act fast, because our Great Aussie Shed sale is here at last. Visit one of our 4 display centres today. Olympic Industries, built to last.
Uncle Mark, geez, he was a character.
He was larger than life. Remember that bright yellow Holden of his?
The HQ GTS, great car, when it was running.
Yeah.
And those fishing stories he'd tell up the river.
And did you notice that the one that got away got bigger every year?
On the bright side, I'll finally get my trailer back. The bugger's had it for 6 months.
To Uncle Mark, one of a kind.
A unique life deserves a distinctive funeral. distinctivefunerals.com.au.
Hello, Frank Walker from National Tiles. National Tiles is the only tile company in Australia to offer a lifetime guarantee on all our tiles. Yes, all National Tiles come with our exclusive lifetime guarantee. So don't risk it. Insist that your tiles are National Tiles to ensure you're covered by our exclusive lifetime guarantee. National Tiles, Australia's only lifetime guarantee tile company. Conditions apply.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Showers developing in 18 today with a 7:30 news. I'm Mel Usher.
The X in Physio Extra stands for X Factor, keeping you on the field during the finals. PhysioExtra.com.
Thousands of people are filing past the Queen's coffin after a procession from Buckingham Palace to Westminster Hall in London. King Charles, siblings Anne, Andrew and Edward, and Princes William and Harry taking part. The Queen will lie in state until Monday's funeral. The queue of mourners is almost 5 kilometres long. This woman has left Westminster Hall and says it was an emotional experience.
Terribly moving. You walk past and it was wonderful seeing all the soldiers and the policemen standing there, so still, but sorry. But when we came back, stopped us by the coffin, that's when it really hit us.
UK correspondent Vincent McAviney has told David and Will the city is preparing for an unprecedented number of visitors the day of the funeral.
There is an expectation as well that Monday could potentially be the busiest day in London's history, with lots of people wanting to come, but also the biggest security operation the UK has probably ever seen. You have maybe north of 100 world leaders and monarchs coming, including, of course, President Joe Biden, pretty much all the G7 leaders. It is going to be an absolutely mammoth security operation.
The Governor-General passed on the nation's condolences to King Charles III in a phone call last night. In a statement, David Hurley said the King spoke of his affection for the people of Australia. The Governor-General and Prime Minister will fly out today to attend the funeral on Monday. The US President has also spoken with the new King. The White House says Joe Biden conveyed the great admiration the American people have for the Queen. Mr. Biden has asked to keep a close relationship with King Charles. To other news, 3 men have been arrested after a service station was robbed at Para Hills last night. It's alleged they verbally threatened staff at the Bridge Road Servo and demanded cash. Senior Constable Peter Williams says staff handed over money from the till and the trio left on foot.
Police patrols that were responding to the incident located 3 men matching the description given by witnesses on Montague Road, a short distance away. Police will allege these are the 3 males involved in the robbery. A search of these men resulted in cash believed to have been stolen from the petrol station being located on one of the males.
The 2 19-year-olds and a 21-year-old have been charged with aggravated robbery. Plans for Adelaide's tallest building have been given the green light. The development will include residential apartments, tourist accommodation and restaurants. It'll be built at the corner of Pulteney and Flinders Street and will eclipse Adelaide's current tallest building, the Crown Plaza, by 18 levels. And the Ukrainian president is promising his people victory in the war against Russia. Volodymyr Zelensky has made a visit to the strategically important city of Izium. The city was recently recaptured from Russia in a lightning counter-offensive. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
10-year warranty and 10-year capped price servicing at Agostino Mitsubishi, Nailsworth and Elizabeth.
It's over to Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. Essendon is considering going back to the future and rehiring James Hird as senior coach. He was one of 4 candidates interviewed for the position yesterday. Premiership-winning Hawk Jordan Lewis is on the 6-person panel to find the Bombers' next coach. He's told Fox Footy it's part of a thorough process to find the right person.
It's not only what I think is, or what we think is, the best candidate or the best coach for the Essendon Football Club. You've certainly got to have a finger on the pulse of what's inside the club and what they think they potentially need.
And North Melbourne has reportedly asked for priority access to Tasmanian players at this year's draft. To soccer, Manchester City has made it 2 from 2 to start its Champions League campaign after a come-from-behind 2-1 win against Borussia Dortmund. City found themselves a goal down with only 10 minutes to play, but equalised thanks to a stunning strike from outside the box.
Stones. It's a real crack. Oh, he's magnificent. That has flown in from the boot of John Stones.
Yeah, lovely strike. Audio thanks to Stan. City then found a winner just 4 minutes later with Erling Haaland again with the winner to give City all 3 points. In other matches this morning, Chelsea was held to a 1-1 draw against Salzburg. Ange Postecoglou's Celtic also playing out a 1-1 draw. That was against Shakhtar Donetsk. Juventus lost 2-1 to Benfica, while Real Madrid took care of RB Leipzig 2-0. And Will Pukowski has offered a timely reminder of his potential, hitting an unbeaten 193 from 11 hours at the crease in a Victorian second 11 match. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
At Para Hills West, look out for a smash on Main North Road at Kester's Road. Kangarilla, look out for road damage. Kangarilla Road near Sand Road, speeds are 25. And Fullerton intersection works continue Cross Road at Fullerton Road. Quite busy at the moment, South Road at Mile End. And look out for a few cameras around the place today. Main South Road, Morford Vale, and Old South Road at Old Ranella. Hungry? Head to Oporto for the 5 for $5 chicken strips. 5 delicious crispy chicken strips with your choice of dipping sauce, just just $5, only at a Porto. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Buy an orthopaedic model queen-size mattress for only $999 at Elite Bedding, South Road, Edwardstown.
Showers developing 18 today, showers tomorrow and 15, and much the same again on Saturday. Right now it's 10 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Nothing beats a road trip, so before you do the fun stuff, let RAA do the car stuff.
Breakfast on 5AA, David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
23 minutes to 8, John Blake before 8 o'clock. Your chance to win tickets to the AFL Grand Final still to come this morning. If you're just joining us, don't worry, you haven't missed it. You can still win the tickets. That'll happen after 8 o'clock today. We've got another clue for you. The suspicion is it might be the final clue. It might be the go-off today, because we are being inundated with people guessing.
Yep.
And that only really happens once there's a sort of a critical mass of people who are convinced they're correct.
When are we unfurling the clue?
A little bit later.
Okay. A little bit later. Listen to him.
No basis.
Oh, you tease.
It's a no basis.
Stay listening, David.
Hang on, I've seen the envelope. I can see there's Sam Daddo sitting behind Matt Abraham holding the envelope.
He's got the envelope ready. Chekhov's envelope. It'll come into play at some point. Matt Abraham is in the studio. If you've been watching along on the Facebook and YouTube live stream, thanks to RAA. He joins us thanks to the great people at Mitre 10. Friendly service, expert advice, quality brands at great prices. That's mighty helpful, Mitre 10. Morning to you, Matt.
Good morning, Will. Good morning, David.
Alan Jones on his way.
Alan Jones coming to South Australia to bolster the cause of the Conservative Liberals. To speak to them. This is your story in the Australian yesterday, in exclusive. Well, aren't they?
Flattery will get you everywhere, mate.
Aren't they all?
Hot on the heels of Catherine Deeves as well, who was here only a few weeks ago.
So there's two Liberal parties at the moment. There's the one you see, which is everything's going along swimmingly, and then there's below decks, where it's an absolute bun fight, and that's using the polite term for what's going on, but there's a real bun fight going on for control of the Liberal Party, because the Conservatives see this as their opportunity, this election loss, to retake control of the party, which has been dominated by the Pyne moderates. Chris Pyne, a former federal minister, and member for Sturt, and this is their chance, and they're really, I think they'll succeed. Because we've got the AGM, the Liberal Party AGM, coming up this weekend, and I actually had a text from somebody who said he's bought in a big bag of Woolies popcorn, so he can sit and enjoy the bun fight. So they're seeking to take control not just of key positions like executive positions, but Senator Alex Antic is very efficiently organising. He and his supporters, increasing the numbers of like-minded Conservatives in branches. And it's in the branches, it's in the Liberal branches where decisions are made and pre-selections are made. It's very different model to the Labor Party.
It's quite rare these days to get huge numbers of people suddenly joining a political party.
Yeah.
And normally, you'd be thrilled if you're a mainstream political party and your membership sat at about 4,500, which is what the SA Liberal Party membership stood at about 12 months ago. If you knew that there were roughly 1,000 passionate Conservative people who wanted to get involved and come to meetings and hand out how to vote cards and put up posters on election day, you'd be going happy days. But the way it's panned out, and I actually think it's to a very large degree the fault of the moderates themselves, is they sort of martyred these people. And it was principally the party president, Lee Davis, a lifelong moderate, who did it. Because what happened was, everyone, all our listeners will remember the big furore over late-term abortion and euthanasia laws, and there were senior members of the Marshall government, including the Premier, former Deputy Vicky Chapman, who, in their capacity as private members, voted in favour of that legislation. So this created...
They did more than that, really, too, didn't they? They steered it through.
Well, yeah.
Vicky Chapman, as Attorney General, facilitated it, gave it her blessing, and would have regarded it as a big tick on her legacy, that she steered those two major reforms through Parliament.
So a lot of religious people tried to join the party, and then the party immediately said to them, well, we're going to suspend your membership so we can check out your bona fides. And the unstated reason was we suspect that this is a branch stacking exercise. And all these people who go to like the Panorama Pentecostal Church and, you know, spirit-filled churches out in the sort of Bible Belt in the northern suburbs went, hang on a minute. If Scott Morrison tried to join the South Australian Liberal Party at the moment, he'd probably get kicked out too. So now, here they are, you know, onward Christian soldiers,
Exactly.
and they're ready to smash their way into power.
And as you wrote, David, the tension, I suppose, here is the moderates say that you can't win an election in Australia if you're too far to the left or too far to the right. And, you know, you would say Peter Malinauskas is a classic example of that. And the reformed, ardent lefty, avowed Republican Anthony Albanese really has had to abandon most things he holds dear. And, you know, just to squeak home as Prime Minister. I forgot the other day, reading it again in the Oz, that he's only got a 2-seat majority. You forget that how tenuous his hold is on government. It looks a lot. It looks worse on paper. I mean, it's a lot more than that because of the independents. So you've got this tension in the South Australian Liberal Party, and then you've got the Conservatives saying, "Well, if your theory is correct," and you'd have to say that Stephen Marshall as Premier was the most Labor Premier the Liberal Party's ever had. You know, he had great friendship with Tammy Franks from the Greens. You'd have to say that his Attorney General, Vicky Chapman, a lifelong, ardent, leading moderate. She adopted the more excessive ends of the Green agenda, and then it had to be whittled back to get through Parliament. So you've got that. But the Conservatives are saying, well, wait a minute, if your argument's right, and that you can't be too left or too right to win, and the Marshall government was a perfect model of almost a centrist government, why do we keep losing elections? Why have we only had 3 one-term governments in about the last 40 years? And all the rest of it have been these long decades of Labor rule. So Dunstan, Bannon, Ram Weatherall. Huge long runs. So what are we doing wrong? We're doing something wrong, aren't we? And that's their argument. It's actually a pretty powerful argument.
I'm sure Stephen Marshall's argument would be, well, I was actually the one who won an election. Where are these halcyon days to which you're referring? Playford?
You got to go back a while.
But it's right now they're fighting over the spoils of loss.
Yeah.
Right? The spoils of defeat. And I think that the question to which you're talking, Matt, is the most pertinent one. Does a shift philosophically represent a better chance of winning? Because you're right, I reckon any time from the Isabel Redmond years onward, if you walked onto the floor of the lower house and listened in on a debate not knowing who the parties were, if it was a social issue, the most conservative voices in the House have been the Labor Party, always. Yeah. And I just don't think many South Australians understand the degree to which, how jarring that is. You walk in and you're hearing the voices saying no to euthanasia and same-sex marriage and so forth. They've all been on the Labor. Well, the loudest have been on the Labor side. The Liberal side have been the largest advocates for those sorts of things.
But you look at a leading voice on both the abortion reform, and I'm not talking about that was in 2 parts. One was to remove it from the criminal code. I don't think anyone had any argument about that, but that was one thing. The other one was allowing abortion up to full term, and that is another issue entirely. And the other one was our voluntary assisted dying, or state assisted suicide, depending on your perspective. Well, one of the coming to your point, Tom Koutsantonis was one of the most ardent, and he really felt that passionately being opposed to both those measures.
And before him, you think about Mick Atkinson. He spent years campaigning against that sort of social reform.
Yeah, and strangely enough, people like Mick Atkinson, I'll no doubt get a text or a call saying this, but on things such as prostitution reform, took quite a more pragmatic approach. So it wasn't a strictly Bible bashing exercise, but there were some key issues for them.
Can I ask you what I think then gets into brass tacks about the electability of the Liberal Party in South Australia? I think in the aftermath of the election, we all said and scrutinised that the capacity just to play politics whilst in government and to be political and push an agenda, occasionally look like you're governing. Then there was the question about how you go when you're in an election campaign. How effective are you? Where are your foot soldiers? It did seem like they were outnumbered on the ground. Did we miss a third element saying that ideologically they were in the wrong spot, or is that immaterial, do you think, to actually the chances of the party winning successive elections?
Well, I think the problem that you have to factor in is the Peter Malinowskis factor.
Yes.
You know, the candidate from Central Casting. You know, if you're going to
what Jay say, the candidate looks like he was designed in a laboratory.
So
now we just tweak the abs and release at the aquatic centre.
And there's a Twitter account that's come up now that's poking fun at Peter Malinowskis. And actually, when you start looking at some of the stuff, like particularly the videos he puts up on Instagram and so on, it really is presidential stuff. You know, it's all about Pete. And you know, he's incredibly marketable. So that's what they were up against. You know, I think there were probably other issues at play for the Liberal Party, and the fact that Stephen Marshall was seen to have surrendered control of COVID, all that sort of stuff was feeding
totally.
in.
Yep.
You know,
yeah.
But you need a really robust organisation, a united, robust organisation also to win elections. You've got to have a good leader. You've got to have smart policies that don't frighten the horses. But you've got to have a really well thought out organisation. And as you were saying, David, your members are the ones. If you go up to a polling booth, and you've got a lot of these minor parties, it might have been like the Xenophon, Nick Xenophon's latest disaster. You can't just have a few leaflets sitting on a chair. You know, we're seeing now a lot of, when you go to vote, a lot of political parties, the candidates are at key polling booths, and they aren't just standing there passively. They're sort of jamming their leaflets at you and saying, is there anything I can do for you? Is there any questions you've got to ask? I'm the candidate. You know, it's like being at an auction. It's quite weird. And that's been a shift. Well, you need those people at polling booths because they help you win elections.
Yeah, 100%.
And you need people stuffing letterboxes. You need people helping you, door knock, all that sort of gear. So, yeah, it's an important fight for the Liberal Party.
Fascinating. Let's rate some spin.
Out of 10, every time.
Now, I don't know if you've noticed, but the Queen has died, and we have a new king. And, of course, all our political leaders are tripping over themselves to impress on us their great loyalty, including this excerpt from a speech by Matthew Guy, the Liberal opposition leader in Victoria.
In all those monarchs, from figures well known, King Arthur, Henry VIII and so on, the longest reigning of them all was Queen Elizabeth II.
God save the King.
Now, King Arthur is fictional, as we know. Unless I've missed something.
But he learned everything he knows about the royal family by watching Monty Python's Holy Grail.
Camilla is not Lady Guinevere.
No, there is no Camelot.
King Charles isn't going to pull a sword out of a stone. I'm giving poor old Matty Guy a 2 out of 10.
Out of 10, every time.
There's a funny thing I've noticed, and even Albo did a bit, and this isn't a criticism of it, I just thought it was quite endearing. People try to lay on the sort of la-di-da, sort of almost Shakespearean way of speaking. The moment they're asked, what are your thoughts? And people go, well, she did touch us in so many ways. And they find themselves talking in sort of very strange sort of...
Ye olde English.
That's right. Exactly.
Good on you, Matt.
Thanks, Matt.
A pleasure.
Your local Mitre 10, friendly service expert advice, quality brands at great prices. That's mighty helpful, Mitre 10. Let's check traffic.
Thanks, Will. Look out for a smash at Para Hills West. That's on Main North Road at Kesters Road. Fullerton, intersection works are continuing there. Crossroad at Fullerton Road, while in the city, selected roads are getting upgraded in the East Parklands. That's good news, including to Kettle Terrace and Bartels Road. Few restrictions around there. Busy at the moment, South Road at Mile End, and keep your eyes out for a camera today. Main South Road at Moffat Vale. At the 40 Winks of famous 40-hour sale, get up to 40% off big brand mattresses and more. Ends Sunday. Exclusions and T's and C's apply. 40 Winks, serious about sleep. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Well, David, we've been cruising around in the electric car thanks to the RAA and learning about this brand new technology.
It's been a lot of fun, and now we're going to catch up with Mark Borlace from the RAA to hear about all of the benefits and savings from driving an electric vehicle.
My picture of having an electric vehicle was you plug it into home overnight and then you're good to go for the trips you need that day. You were saying this one's 30 minutes and a lot of other cars, it takes a lot less time to charge.
Yeah, so 30 minutes is on the big fast chargers that are out there. If you look at Adelaide, the average commute in Adelaide is about 24 k's a day. Overnight, you'll get 2-3 times that. If you want, you could actually just leave it on charge over the weekend, and that'll do your whole week easily. And as you say, it's got a 450k range. It's starting to feel and look and do what a normal car does, and that's when people start to love them.
So get in touch with NRG Solar today and start saving. Visit nrgsolar.com.au.
Now, when you want to cook up a tasty, healthy seafood meal, go straight to the people that provide only the finest quality every day, and that is none other than the excellent folks at Samtas Seafoods. They are open 7 days a week, factory direct.
You do a double take at some of these prices. I mean, where else can you get 4 kilos? 4 kilos of premium seafood for just $60. Snap frozen kilo packs of your favourites at Samtas. You can choose from Atlantic salmon portions, flathead fillets, snapper and barramundi fillets, crumb garfish and prawns, salt and pepper squid, and more.
And look, they've got an incredible range of premium, fresh South Australian seafood processed daily with factory direct prices. Fish, like if you buy the right stuff, like you don't even have to buy the right stuff at Samtas because it's also affordable. I bought 12 fillets of garfish there. We ate 8 of them for dinner. I froze another 4 for Kate and I bought 600 grams of mulloway and made a tagine last night. Another thing cost like less than $40. This week, local fresh sweet Tommy Rough fillets, only $26.99 a kilo, and fresh South Aussie King George whiting fillets. How's this? Just $59.99 a kilo.
Load up with the 4 kilos for $60 deal and try some incredible fresh premium South Australian seafood. Get to Samtas Seafoods, open 7 days, factory direct, Richmond Road, Richmond.
Need a forklift? Don't just get a forklift, get a Toyota forklift. Toyota is the world's #1 forklift brand with a great range of pallet jacks, walkie stackers and reach forklifts right up to their leading Toyota counterbalance forklifts. Legendary reliability and safety with cleaner, greener electric options, Toyota can tailor the right forklift solution for you. It's all part of the Toyota Forklift Advantage. For more, visit toyotamaterialhandling.com.au. Get a Toyota forklift.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube.
Nothing beats a road trip, so before you do the fun stuff, let RAA do the car stuff.
Breakfast on 5AA, David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
7 to 8, Smeg Thursdays, which means we've got a magnificent Smeg appliance to give away. It's the kettle again, which is good. We're back to the kettle, which means we need you to give us the tea.
Give us the tea, thanks to Smeg.
The tea's the rumour, the hot goss, something you've heard around town.
The rumour mill.
The rumour mill. If you've got a rumour...
Bit of nudge, nudge, wink, wink action, folks.
Call us now on 8223 through till the 9 o'clock, and you can win yourself the excellent Smeg kettle. Building or renovating your first choice, you'll be visiting the Smeg showroom at Debney Distributors. Taste the difference with Smeg. We did this, I think, 4 weeks ago.
Went off.
We got a lot of really good rumours that came through.
Frankly, I'm just glad that it's the kettle today, not the beater. After last week's disaster, where I managed to beat my coffee and water simultaneously over the entire studio.
HR have stepped in and said the Smeg appliance cannot be plugged into you any longer.
No, I note that it's not plugged in.
There's no live wires in your vicinity.
As the Charles Sturt Council of the Department of Transport might say when they're confronted with the horror of children making their own bike tracks.
So hit us with a rumour, 8223 the tea, as the kids say, and you can win yourself that Smeg kettle. We've just got a traffic call. Main North Road, inbound Salisbury Park. The right-hand lane's partially blocked. Someone's hit a kangaroo there. The kangaroo's still alive. Cars are banked up.
Thing.
Hopefully the people are okay that hit it as well, because that can be really, really nasty. 5 to 8. 8223 for the Smeg kettle. But first, it's time for John Blake. Thanks to Aussie Fast Transport Solutions, interstate freight distribution, warehousing and local Adelaide couriers. Call Aussie Fast on 13 13 64.
And now, Australia's head of state, King Charles III, with another tip for real happiness.
If you want to be happy for the rest of your life, here is King Charles with some advice. After you've heard what he has to bring, you'll understand he's gonna be a pretty good king.
This is King Charles III with another sort of tip for real happiness, as it were. If you want to be really happy, don't use a bloody fountain pen. It always happens that bloody things squirt ink all over you just when you have to go off and perform sort of official duties as sort of reigning monarch. You end up with blue ink all over you. It looks as though you've cut an artery. That's a royal joke because, we have sort of blue blood, you see. So if you'll accept it, take my advice and don't use a bloody fountain pen. It happens every stinking time. You can rest assured if I have to sack an Australian Prime Minister, I won't be using a bloody fountain pen.
Come on, Charles, we're late.
I'm coming, don't pressure me, I'll squirt you with my bloody fountain pen.
If you want to be happy for the rest of your life, that was King Charles with some advice. Now that he's made you feel full of pluck, treat him with respect, don't call him Chuck.
I'm so glad John Blake does a great King Charles, because he did a great Queen. He used to do ads on television as the Queen's voice and things. He's Charles's sensation. I'm looking forward to more of that. Hey, we're getting some great rumours through.
Give us the tea. Thanks to Smeg.
All right, the tea. You can win yourself the Smeg kettle, thanks to the great people at the Smeg showroom, which you'll find Debney Distributors. Taste the difference with Smeg. Apple has called in. Morning, Apple.
Good morning, boys. This is as good as done. Matt Crouch off to play at St Kilda with his brother.
Matt Crouch to go to the Saints to play with Brad.
From Apple.
Apple, thank you.
I think Apple's a pseudonym.
Appreciate that. I think you've well spotted.
Isn't there some celebrity baby called Apple?
Yeah, Chris Martin's.
Yeah, that's right.
Gwyneth Paltrow's.
Paltrow's.
Mr. Fernando has called in. Mr. Fernando, what's the tea?
Hello there. I have heard a rumour that Will be replaced. I heard this on the T-Vine that FIVEAA and A are looking for a replacement for Will, and any dill will do.
Well,
now you generously offered my brother the seat, but in our tea business, dill always comes before ma.
I don't think it was Dilhan, Fernando. No, I don't think. But I'm confused all the same.
I'm deeply confused.
I'm deeply confused and a little bit hurt.
Yeah, well, I know. I think it was the entire thing was some weird play on words from Mr. Fernando. Will, I don't think there's anything whatsoever. Because I'll tell you what, if you weren't here, I wouldn't be here either.
I'd
be down at Aldinga, scratching my bum faster than you can say. Find another 2 radio hosts if you weren't here.
Hell of a way to find out during your own rumour segment too, wouldn't it?
Well,
I mean, that would be a really nasty way. No, I think...
We know what they say, the definition of optimism in radio is ironing 5 shirts on a Sunday night.
2 minutes to 8. 5AA News is coming at breaking 8 in a moment. More rumours next.
You know what? When I worked at Mitchie's back in the day, I was considered the 4th diamond. Funny that was true. What is true, though, is the opening of the new Mitsubishi showroom at Wayville. It's been a while in the making, but I tell you what, it is totally worth it. You won't see or experience anything like it in SA. It is groundbreaking. So if you're buying a Mitsubishi or you're getting your car serviced, please head to Wayville Mitsubishi. It's now open opposite the showground, driven by Australian Motors.
G'day, it's Mark Bickley. For most business PC brands, a 4-hour service guarantee means they'll call you back in 4 hours. But at Leader Computers, a 4-hour service guarantee on Leader's business range means they'll come to your worksite and have you back in business inside 4 hours. Leader Computers are local, made here in Adelaide with better service, better support and speedy turnaround times. Live life local. Live life Leader. Leader Computers. Find your local dealer at leadersystems.com.au.
Since 1982, our passionate teams at First National Real Estate have worked 10,400 days and around 582 million hours across Australia with one common goal: to always put you first. And we'll be here in Adelaide to help you on your journey to your happy place. Be it a tree change, a sea change, upsize, downsize, or finding that investment gem. First National Real Estate. We put you first. firstnational.com.au.
9 News has the experience to break the news. Made in Adelaide, for Adelaide. 9 News. Online, on DAB Digital Radio, and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Showers developing in 18 today with the 8 o'clock news. I'm Mel Usher.
The X in Physio Extra stands for X Factor, keeping you on the field during the finals. PhysioExtra.com.
The Queen is now lying in state at Westminster Hall, her coffin transported from Buckingham Palace overnight in a procession involving all the senior members of the royal family. The King, joined by his sons William and Harry, sister Princess Anne and brothers Prince Andrew and Edward. Camilla, Kate, Sophie and Meghan were part of the convoy but travelled by car. Clinton Maynard reports from London.
Over the next 4 days, Westminster Hall will be open 24 hours a day to allow as many people as possible to pay their respects to the Queen. Those who've been sleeping out at the front of the queue have now started filing past her coffin. Some pause and bow their heads, others wipe away tears. For thousands of others, it's going to be a long wait, with the queue along the River Thames now growing following the end of the procession. Many people who watched King Charles follow his mother from Buckingham Palace to Westminster have now joined that queue. The procession, which ran for around 40 minutes, will go down as one of the most significant events in British history.
The queue for those waiting to pay their respects is currently around 4.5 kilometres long. For many, the death of Her Majesty is the end of an era. Almost two-thirds of people think Britain will change as a result of her passing, according to a new YouGov poll. 18% are expecting short-term change. 44% think the changes will be more long-term. Dickie Arbiter worked for Her Majesty for 12 years as a press secretary. He has a fond memory of the time he accidentally told the Queen to do the washing up after a picnic.
And I went into the kitchen, I started washing up, and I heard a footfall, and I thought, how nice, the lady in waiting's coming to give me a hand. And I casually said over my shoulder without even turning, I said, OK, I'll wash you dry. And there was a sort of slight pause, and this very familiar voice said, no, I'll wash you dry.
The Governor-General spoke to the new King on the phone last night. He'll fly out today with the Prime Minister ahead of the funeral on Monday. President Joe Biden has also called King Charles to offer his condolences, the first time the pair have spoken since the Queen's death. Alison Petrowski reports.
President Biden told King Charles III he wanted a close relationship moving forward. The US President recalled fondly the Queen's kindness and hospitality, including when she hosted him at Windsor Castle in June last year. The White House says Joe Biden conveyed the great admiration of the American people for the Queen. The British government has given the President just 2 tickets for next week's funeral in Westminster Abbey. In a concession to the US, President Biden will be allowed to arrive at the church in his own vehicle after earlier suggestions all world leaders would be bussed to the church together.
To other news, a 14-year-old boy has been arrested after being caught driving a stolen car erratically through the northern suburbs. Staff at a hotel on Woodford Road at Elizabeth North called police after spotting him driving through the car park around 1 a.m. Senior Constable Peter Williams says patrols caught up with him on Main North Road.
The car was then seen driving through a red light at the intersection of Midway Road and then onto the incorrect side of Main North Road. They attempted to spike the vehicle but were unsuccessful. Police then located the vehicle a short time later on Langford Terrace, and the driver attempted to run from the car but was arrested a short distance away without incident.
The boy from Elizabeth Park has been charged with illegal use, driving at a speed dangerous and driving unlicensed. He'll face the youth court in October. A Nissan Pulsar stolen during a carjacking in the city has been located at Flagstaff Hill. It was taken on O'Brien Street just after midnight and found abandoned in the southern suburbs 90 minutes later. The vehicle has been seized for forensic examination. And a new 55-storey tower is set to dominate Adelaide's skyline after being given planning approval. The development at the intersection of Pulteney and Flinders Streets will include residential apartments, tourist accommodation and restaurants. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
New Mitsubishi Triton with 10-year warranty, 10-year capped price servicing at Agostino Mitsubishi, Nailsworth and Elizabeth.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. Essendon is considering rehiring James Hird as its senior coach. The Premiership captain was interviewed for the job yesterday, as well as Adam Uze and Brendan Lade. Meantime, the teams for the prelim finals will be released tonight. Geelong to take on Brisbane tomorrow night, while on Saturday it's Sydney up against Collingwood. To soccer, Macarthur FC has thrashed Victorian NPL side the Oakley Cannons 5-2 in the Australia Cup semi-finals. It means the Bulls will play against Sydney United in the final on the 1st of October. Still on the World Game, and Graham Potter has taken charge of Chelsea for his first match since taking over from the sacked Thomas Tuchel, and things started perfectly for him in their Champions League clash against Salzburg this morning, with Raheem Sterling striking early in the second half.
Stones. It's a real crack.
And that was the Manchester City goal. Their match finishing in a 2-1 win against Borussia Dortmund, while Chelsea had a 1-1 draw against Salzburg in their match. Meantime, Ange Postecoglou's Celtic had a 1-1 draw against Shakhtar Donetsk. Justin Hodges and Paul Gallen have had to be separated during the weigh-in for tonight's three-way boxing match. After a fiery build-up, Gallen will take on both Hodges and his former Queensland Origin teammate Ben Hannant. And Australian Vice-Captain Rachel Haynes has announced her retirement from international cricket. Haynes will line up for this season's Women's BBL, but that will be her last outing. Haynes scored nearly 4,000 runs across all three formats of the game. And the Wallabies will be hoping to make a winning start to the Bledisloe Cup when they host New Zealand tonight in Melbourne. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
At Barrow Hills West, look out for a smash on Main North Road at Kester's Road. Kangarilla, look out for road damage there. Kangarilla Road near Sand Road. While in the city, selected roads are getting upgraded in the East Parklands, including Kettle Terrace and Hutt Street. A few delays around there. Busy at the moment, Marion Road at Plimpton Park. And Camera's got a few of those around today, including Barnes Road Glen. And another one, Gage Street at Firle. Amart's After Dark sale is on now. Today only. Buy 4 items or more and receive 20% off. Exclude sale items. Hurry, stores are open late tonight at Amart. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
Buy an orthopaedic model queen-size mattress for only $999 at Elite Bedding, South Road, Edwardstown.
Showers developing today, 18. Showers tomorrow, 15. Saturday showers and 15. Right now it's 12 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Oh, that's awful news, Jen.
What?
Jack said the builders hit rock when they were digging your foundations.
Oh, that's fine.
Really? Must be expensive, all that extra work.
Not for us. We're with Rossdale. Their absolute fixed price contract guarantees no builder variations. So only we can change the price.
Seriously? That's amazing.
Yeah. That's why we chose them. No stress and only nice surprises.
Nothing's as strong as Rossdale Homes' absolute fixed price contract. Rossdale Homes. Because trust is a must. T's apply.
Nothing beats a road trip, so before you do the fun stuff, let RAA do the car stuff.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
8 minutes after 8. The hour is almost upon us. Well, the hour is upon us. The moment is almost upon us for the grand final ticket competition. Your chance to win the tickets, flights, accommodation, all included, coming up in the next 50 minutes on the program. Another clue, another chance to win. A lot of people want to get involved. All I would suggest is this. Have 8223 0055 plugged into your phone. Wait for the clue, and we'll tell you when to push that button and get calling. And then just keep calling and keep calling until the person's guessed.
Yes.
And gotten on the air. 8223 0055. But wait, not yet. We'll be doing that competition very, very shortly, though. The other thing that's running concurrently is our SMEG giveaway.
Give us the tea. Thanks to SMEG.
Great people at SMEG. We love them. We love their appliances. The kettle just looks absolutely splendid. We're asking you for the goss. Any rumours you've got?
Not sure about Mr. Fernando, just quietly.
Dilhan. Well, he seemed such a lovely guy when he came in.
Yeah, that's right.
Very different on the phone, some people, aren't they? 8223 0000 is the number. If you've got a rumour for us, bit of goss, got a good one about Matt Crouch to St Kilda from Apple before the break. Every single rumour goes in the running to win that SMEG kettle. So it could be in any field of endeavour. If you've got a little bit of goss for us from around town, let us know, and you'll be in the running to win that excellent SMEG appliance.
Well, yesterday in Breaking It Out, we brought you the story about the groundswell of anger among Central Market traders about comments by Councillor Phil Martin, talking about the alleged mayhem that's being caused by the new market development. The traders argue that all of this negativity is hurting their businesses, that there are no problems whatsoever with accessing the Central Market at the moment, and they basically want Phil Martin to put a sock in it. Now, because we are always fair and even-handed, and I think we demonstrated that the other day with our completely civilised chat with Anne Moran when we had her on the show, we extended an invitation to Phil Martin to come on this morning. We've spoken to Mr. Martin before, and we were completely respectful. In fact, from memory, at the end of the interview, we went, oh, that was quite nice. I think he thought he was going to get towed up when he came on here. Anyway, this is the reply we got. Dear David, I understand that you wish to speak with me, but despite having my phone number, have conveyed the message through an intermediary, which is unremarkable. We rang Matt Halliwell, the council's media guy, and said, can we get Phil Martin on the show? But anyway, Phil continues, it's 1 year ago that you and FIVEAA published false and highly defamatory accusations against me, which is, of course, nonsense. All we did was report at the time that Phil was going to be the subject of a code of conduct process over comments he had made about the market upgrade. But anyway, I'll let Phil have his say here. He says, despite assurances I would receive a response, I have not seen so much as an explanation for the delay in replying, let alone a reply, so I have declined to participate in any interviews with you or FIVEAA because of your unprofessional conduct. I continue to speak with other media, but prefer to deal only with accurate and ethical journalists. Thanks for that, Phil, and we wish you all the best for your council re-election bid. One person who does want to talk to us, though, is Ben McKinnon, who is the Market Square Senior Development Manager. Now, Ben, thanks for your time, mate. I've never spoken to you before and didn't speak to you ahead of yesterday's Breaking at 8 about everybody from aubergines to Vegas Poultry to O'Connell Meats, you know, iconic market businesses arcing up about Phil Martin's conduct. Can I get your thoughts on the impact that this is having on your project?
Yeah, no problem. It's nice to be chatting to you. It was really nice to hear those letters yesterday. I haven't actually seen those letters, but I did listen in to the segment, and it's nice to hear that positive support from the traders. It has been an interesting process with Phil. I don't really know where his comments are coming from. They don't make sense to us. We're in a partnership with the City of Adelaide on this Market Square project and have been keeping them informed the whole way along. So a bit unusual, but just really excited to get cracking with the project.
How is the project going? Because he's been saying there's delays, there's disruptions. I mean, I go to the market at least once a fortnight, and it doesn't resemble the sort of chaotic picture that he's been painting.
No, absolutely. Yeah, it's still very much on track with further construction to commence imminently. We've actually already started some of the early works, enabling works down the Victoria Square link in between the Sir Samuel Way building and the Hilton. So that's the first phase of works to enable the rest of the demolition to commence. But I think the important message is that the central market and the traders are open for business and will remain open for business throughout the duration of construction. That's one of the things that we've been working really hard on to ensure we can maintain that.
Yeah, well, that's the key thing, and you know these stallholders clearly are fired up about it. Hence the fact that they wrote those letters to the council. It's a hugely important project, Ben, for a part of Adelaide that makes us unique from the rest of Australia. Ben McKinnon, the Market Square Senior Development Manager for the Central Market Upgrade. Thanks for joining us this morning. Love the market.
It's a great spot.
Get in. It's going to be good when it's all done.
It'll be spectacular, I think. 14 minutes after 8, 8223 0000 is our number. If you'd like to join the conversation, you can text us too on the Automasters text line 044808 1395. If you've got some rumours for us, got some goss, you could win yourself an excellent Smeg kettle, thanks to the great people at Smeg, located at Debney Distributors. Taste the difference with Smeg. We'll check traffic. Be back with more in a moment.
Thanks, Will. Look out for a smash this morning at Para Hills West. That's on Main North Road at Kesters Road. Clarendon, urgent sewer works, Grant Gully Road near Eastern Road, and Fullerton intersection works are continuing there. Crossroad at Fullerton Road, pretty slow at the moment, down to 40 k's. Busy right now, Marion Road at Plimpton Park, with a camera to keep your eye out for Hallett Road at Wattle Park. Open the door to exceptional opportunities on a wide range of Audi models at the Audi Open House Sales event on now. Ends October 31. Season apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Tim Ginniver now joins Stephen Rowe every afternoon for the new look 5AA Sports Show.
Hey, Port have got their man, Junior Rioli. Is he the answer? Is he that final piece of that Port Adelaide Premiership puzzle?
I don't like that term, and I've heard it since we went and got Paddy Ryder in 2015.
Rowie and Timmy G.
We all know that it takes so much more than that to win a premiership. What I will say is he'll be the number one small forward if he can get fit.
4 p.m. weekdays on 5AA.
Building amazing homes is important to Beechwood Homes, and so is the environment. So when you build with Beechwood, you're building a better environment for our kids and grandkids. Here's why. Around 70% of scrap materials from every Beechwood home is recycled. Bricks, rubble, timber, gyprock and steel, none of it goes to landfill. It's all sorted and recycled. So life really is good. It's even better in a Beechwood home. Google Beechwood Adelaide today for a better future for all of us.
Introducing Nissan Future Value Business Plus, a new fleet finance solution for small to medium businesses offering competitive weekly repayments including the cost of scheduled servicing for the loan term. Available now on the Nissan Navara SL 4x4 dual cab auto with more models to come. Plan confidently for the road ahead with Nissan Future Value Business Plus. Visit nissan.com.au/business plus or contact your local Nissan dealer. Approved ABN registered small to medium fleet applicants of Nissan Financial Services. T's and C's and exclusions apply.
Hi, I'm Peter Berkowitz from Berkowitz Furniture. Our massive spring sale is on right now. You'll save up to 30%. Save hundreds on sofas, chairs, dining and more. Save on famous Berkowitz comfort and quality. There's our great Australian collection, plus Scandinavian brands, Stressless and IMG. And you can customise to your heart's content. The Berkowitz spring sale ends soon. We're not just a furniture store, we're an Aussie furniture family. In-store at Mile End Homemaker Centre and online.
When you're selling your home, every wall is an opportunity to make buyers fall in love. Enrich your walls with stunning Indigenous artwork from Art by FIVEAA. Help your home sell for optimum price. All artwork is ethically sourced, directly supporting Indigenous artists and communities. See what catches your eye inside one of Adelaide's largest range of Indigenous paintings and prints. Art by FIVEAA, a family company specialising in Indigenous art. 1070 South Road, Edwardstown.
Hi, I'm Victoria from The Family Cook. I'm passionate about cooking wholesome, fresh and delicious meals. We're the only meal delivery service based in South Australia using hand-selected premium ingredients such as free-range chicken, grass-fed beef, Australian fish and locally sourced vegetables and herbs. Our customers love it and I can guarantee you'll love it too. And we're proudly an NDIS provider. Jump on board thefamilycook.com.au.
9 News has the experience to break the news. Made in Adelaide for Adelaide. 9 News.
Nothing beats a road trip, so before you do the fun stuff, let RAA do the car stuff.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
18 minutes after 8. If you're a Tom Burlinson fan and you want to see his show Adelaide Now We're Swinging, Saturday, October 1st on the October long weekend, stay listening. Tom Burlinson will be coming up in just a moment. But also, we've got tickets to give away to what sounds like a terrific event, not only for those people that like swing, but the venue, it's at the Capri. I reckon that'd be a fantastic place to see a show.
The Capri, you go there just to sit in the theatre.
Absolutely.
Like, it's beautiful. And they've got the mighty Wurlitzer, the old organ that they use for those special nights.
It feels like it's of the era.
Yeah,
it's of swing.
It's got that real jazz sort of. Well, Art Deco and jazz almost overlap, don't they? Early 20s, I think.
Yeah, I would have thought. That'll be fantastic, that show. Tom, in a moment. We've got the Smeg kettle to give away with someone who's got a rumour for us. Celery has called in. Morning, Celery.
Good morning, gentlemen. How are you?
Good, thank you.
So my rumour is, and as you guys are journalists, I would say do a little bit of digging, but we've all heard about where the new Women's and Children's Hospital is going. Well, I can tell you that there are plans afoot to relocate it to where the police maintenance barracks are at the moment.
Where's that? Where's that, Celery? Where are the maintenance barracks at the moment?
So you know where the RAH is?
Yeah.
Go down towards, further down past where they were originally going to put it in that little triangle block.
Oh, yeah.
And if you go down about another 300 metres, there's like a police yard there and the horses back onto there as well.
Oh, yep.
Yep, it's going in there.
Where all those olive trees are.
Yes, do some digging, because I'm telling you, I've seen the plans, that's where it's going.
That sounds like some real insight. Celery.
Deep throat.
Thank you. That would be a big story. That's the biggest project in the state.
I like that people are giving themselves all these cool pseudonyms as well.
Yeah,
I
don't know. We should interrogate a bit more what the origin of them are.
Go through the whole CRISPR.
I don't know what celery had to do with the moving women's and children's, but anyway, it doesn't matter. That is a good bit of intel potentially.
That was good.
Thank you for that. 8223 Keep them coming in, and we will take more calls and give away the Smeg kettle for your provision of tea over the course of the morning. Grand final tickets shortly as well. But the long weekend in October is not far away either. And on Saturday night, 7:30 on the first, Tom Burlinson in town for Adelaide Now We're Swinging at the Capri Theatre. We were talking about it just a moment ago. Tom, good morning to you.
Hello, David and Will. How are you?
We're good, thanks, Tom. Very excited to be talking to you, mate. I can remember one of my fondest memories with my late grandma. We all went along as a family to see The Man from Snowy River back in 1982. That was sort of your breakthrough moment, wasn't it?
It certainly was. 40 years ago, mate, since it was released. So, yeah, I mean, a wonderful career break for me. And you know, the movie is still so much loved after all these years.
Yeah, superb. Beautiful soundtrack as well, that film.
Oh, Bruce Rowland, the music is beautiful. The photography of the beautiful Australian landscape, the action in the movie, the romance. There's still lots and lots to enjoy. And hey, kids who weren't even thought of when we made the movie are being put in front of it and love it still.
Yeah, yeah. Well, speaking of romance, Tom, the music of Frank Sinatra is something in the latter part of your career you've become synonymous with, but for this special show you're doing in Adelaide on the long weekend here, you've cast your musical net a bit wider to bring in some other members of the Rat Pack as well.
That's right. It's sort of an extension of my show about Sinatra. It's very similar in style to that, but I investigated and discovered the terrific work of some of Sinatra's contemporaries of vocal swing in the late 1950s and early 60s. And, of course, we're talking about people like Nat King Cole and Tony Bennett and Dean Martin and Sammy Davis Jr. and Bobby Darin a little later. Mm-hmm. And we also celebrate the more modern guys in this show, Michael Bublé and Harry Connick Jr., who've really been so much a part of the renewed popularity of vocal swing in recent times. So look, mate, it's one great song after another, songs made famous by all of those men, including Sinatra, and we have a terrific band. I bring a couple of musicians with me, guys, from Sydney, who always work with me, and then we pick up 5 local musicians who've also played with me over the years. And so we've got the trumpets and the saxophones and the trombone and all of those horns that make that music. It's so important to that style of music. So, and as you said earlier, really looking forward to seeing the Capri Theatre. I've only seen pictures of it, but it seems like a perfect setting for this show.
You'll love it, Tom. You'll love performing there. It's such a great spot. Putting Frank Sinatra to one side, because we know your history with Sinatra and we know how wonderfully you do Sinatra's music. Of the other legends of swing that you talk about, whose music's the most fun to perform?
Well, look, some of it is pretty challenging, I have to say, because, for instance, Sammy Davis Jr., he performed with such incredible energy and at a much higher pitch, much higher keys musically than Sinatra sang in. So I have to really be in good vocal shape to sing his songs, and also Tony Bennett as well. You know, it was able to really sing right up high. And so I have to be on my toes with all of that. I talk in between the shows, in between the songs about you know, these guys and their various careers. And actually also there's a bit of drama in it, in that the vocal swing was very fashionable. And then, of course, in the early 60s, when rock and roll and a younger generation came to the fore, they really suffered quite a bit. And then there was a great resurgence of this style of music later. And, you know, so the songs are kind of really timeless and great quality.
I can remember when the fantastic Rob Reiner film, When Harry Met Sally, came out, and it had that soundtrack with Harry Connick Jr. singing a lot of those standards. It really introduced a lot of those songs to a new generation that hadn't heard them before, and I was one of them because I was about 20 when that film came out. And these songs, they will endure, won't they? Just because they're so brilliantly written.
Well, I think so. You know, Harry Connick Jr.'s "It Had to Be You" is in the show. Now, "It Had to Be You" was written in the 1920s. But it's still, you know, as soon as I start singing it, people just sort of there's a sort of collective sigh from the audience because they know it, and it's, as I said, a timeless quality. And we've also got another favourite. I do Sammy Davis Jr.'s Bojangles, Mr. Bojangles, and it's a story song, and it was so closely connected with Sammy Davis Jr., of course, and that always gets a wonderful response as well.
Well, it sounds like a great night out, Tom. Tom Burlinson, who will be in Adelaide on Saturday, October the 1st at 7:30 p.m. at the Capri for the Adelaide Now We're Swinging show. Great chatting to you, Tom. And also, first caller through gets a double pass to the show. And if you are not lucky enough to be the first caller through and want to get tickets, go to capri.org.au. That sounds like a cracker of a night, doesn't it?
A hell of a night. 8223 first caller through will get the tickets to get along to the Capri on the 1st of October. We'll have a look at the fuel situation quickly before 5AA News, thanks to the free MyRAA app that you can download and find the cheapest fuel in an instant on your device. The advice is fill up now this morning. Sam watches this very closely, and when he says fill up now, I listen. United South Road Melrose, $1.46.5. The United Grand Junction Road Rosewater, $1.45.5. The ex-convenience Bryans Road Northfield, $1.49.5 are the cheap spots, but it's heading in the wrong direction broadly. The cheapest diesel is the United Main North Road Paraka at $1.92.7. Do you want to read a couple of texts about breaking it up? Master's text line?
One here from Nathan in Eden Hills. He says, I go to the market once a week as regular as clockwork. It's a great experience every time with no impeded access. So I'm not sure what this Buggerlugs Phil is on about. Good word, Buggerlugs. Thanks for that. Jimmy says, I just want to say how many councils are screwing us all over Australia in relation to these important developments.
Surely there's a skate ramp somewhere that needs dismantling.
Yeah, that's right. Can't they get back to their day job of persecuting children for being out in the fresh air? And Luke says, hey, Dave, you can't spill your coffee again now that you've got a kettle in there. Correct.
Absolutely. Hey, congrats to Marie Glenelg too, who's off to see Tom Burlinson. We're going to take a break. 5AA News is on the way. And I'm going to tell you this, right after 5AA News, there's a clue coming into the studio, and there's a listener who's going to get a chance at guessing who's got their AFL Grand Final tickets.
Concrete. It's not all.
Keep on moving on, keep on moving on. Go, go, get you some. Keep on moving on.
You're watching the 5AA live stream, thanks to RAA.
Asking why not? Trust the brand Outback Sleepers, sold at over 60 local landscaping and hardware stockists. Outbacksleepers.com.au.
I love being a fresh Aussie strawberry. I'm now only $1.79 for a 250-gram pack. And so tasty, I could eat myself. It's so painful. It's so delicious. Aldi, good, different.
Now, you all know that I love my local Mitre 10. In fact, I was only there last Sunday, or as those of us in the know like to call it, the other hardware store. It's my one-stop shop for all my DIY jobs, whether it's something indoors that needs fixing. Well, actually, that's not entirely true. It's more the garden stuff that I'm au fait with. And look, just get into Mitre 10. Be you a handyman or not, or a garden nut like me, Mitre 10 have got everything you need, and the staff are excellent. They'll happily give you advice on the best products to help you get all those jobs done.
So if you're planning some home improvements or have some fix-it jobs to do, or you just want to spruce things up a bit around the home or in the garden, head into your local Mighty Helpful Mitre 10.
For great prices on the right products for the job, along with helpful advice, choose the other hardware store, Mighty Helpful Mitre 10.
For over 38 years, Steinborner has been well worth the trip. With over 400 used cars to choose from, you're sure to find the car you're looking for. You won't find a better range of cars covering the entire region, from Gawler to the Barossa Valley and Clare. And don't forget, you can always click through the collection of vehicles online at steinborner.com.au. Great local deals on great local cars from your locals. Steinborner Automotive. Still well worth the trip, or well worth the click.
Hi, I'm Izzy, and my family runs St. Louis Home Care, which was started by my great-grandma 76 years ago. We'd like you to meet Jen, our physiotherapist. She's supported the health and well-being of our clients for 18 years.
I love being part of a team because it's a family business. I think we're really caring and we all know each other really well. And our goal is just to keep our clients living at home where they want to be.
Yes, Jen, independence is so important. Google St. Louis Home Care to find out how my family can help take care of yours.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Showers developing 18 today with the 8:30 news. I'm Mel Usher.
The X in Physio Extra stands for X Factor, keeping you on the field during the finals. PhysioExtra.com.
The terror threat level for the Queen's funeral is currently sitting at substantial. Huge crowds have converged on London in the past few days, and there are now people queuing around the clock to pay their final respects to the Queen as she lies in state at Westminster Hall. Lisa had a prime position for the procession earlier overnight and is considering joining the queue.
It's very overwhelming, actually, to believe that she's actually in there. I think it's still kind of sinking in that she's gone. It's just really weird.
Former Royal Protection Officer Simon Morgan says it's one of the biggest security operations in UK history.
As a police service, you actually take a duty of care now to these people and have to make sure they're secure and safe. You've got lots of people now going through the night. They have to be policed and have to be policed all the way, because you're looking at not just the terrorist threat. We've certainly had terrorism that has targeted people on bridges, so that's a major worry. But you also have criminality as well.
The Governor-General passed on the nation's condolences to King Charles III in a phone call last night. David Hurley said the King spoke of his affection for the people of Australia. The Governor-General and Prime Minister will fly out today to attend the Queen's funeral on Monday. The US President has also spoken with the new King. The White House says Joe Biden conveyed the great admiration the American people have for the Queen. To other news, police are investigating a carjacking in the city overnight. A man was sitting in his white Nissan Pulsar on O'Brien Street when a blue hatchback stopped beside him. A man got out and threatened the victim with a knife, demanding his keys. Senior Constable Peter Williams says he then drove off in his car.
The victim wasn't physically injured during the incident, and police searched the immediate area but unable to locate either of the vehicles. And then later in the morning, just after 1:30, police tracked some of the property that was in the stolen vehicle and located it abandoned on Fairley Drive at Flagstaff Hill. The vehicle has been seized for forensic examination and police are continuing to investigate the robbery.
The 14-year-old boy has been arrested after going on a joyride through the northern suburbs in a stolen car. Staff at a hotel in Elizabeth North spotted him driving through the car park in the Toyota Hilux and called police. They caught up with him on Main North Road, where he allegedly ran a red light and was driving on the wrong side of the road. The car was dumped on Langford Terrace and the driver tried to run off but was quickly caught. He's been charged with illegal use, driving at a speed dangerous and driving unlicensed. 3 men have been arrested following a service station hold-up at Para Hills. The outlet on Bridge Road was targeted just after 9 last night. The trio verbally threatened staff and demanded cash. They left on foot with an amount of money. The group, aged 19 and 21, were picked up nearby and 2 will front court today. And the World Health Organisation says a dramatic drop in the number of new COVID cases means the end of the pandemic is now in sight. New infections are at their lowest level since March 2020. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
10-year warranty and 10-year capped price servicing at Agostino Mitsubishi, Nailsworth and Elizabeth.
And it's over to Tom Wren.
Thank you for that, Mel. James Hird is in the running to become the new Essendon coach. Hird interviewed for the vacant Bombers role yesterday, a position he last held in 2015. Hawthorn Premiership player Jordan Lewis is one of 6 individuals on the panel to select the new coach. Lewis telling Fox Footy he'll remain impartial despite the Hawks and Bombers sharing a fierce rivalry.
There were candidates that I've had personal relationships with, been involved with at certain clubs. So there is certain elements of, whether it be emotional, interactive, whatever it might be, you have to come from that lens. And yeah, I think all the panel members today were impressed by presentations.
Let's go to soccer. Oakley has been knocked out of soccer's Australia Cup, losing to A-League side the Macarthur Bulls 5-2 in the semi-final. It was the Gunners' 14-year-old goalkeeper Umar Arbali that stole the show, however, subbed on in the game's final stages. Arbali telling Channel 10 he wasn't nervous, but his mum couldn't stay the same.
I had no nerves, basically just excited to go on, to make history, that's it.
I was a nervous wreck, so I've been nervous all night. I really wanted Oakley to win. I'm so proud of the boys, so proud of Umed. He trains really, really hard.
Yeah, great stuff. And in the Champions League, Manchester City's continued its good form after a 2-1 win against Borussia Dortmund, while Chelsea was held to a 1-1 draw against Salzburg. And Will Pukowski has offered a timely reminder of his potential, hitting an unbeaten 193 from 11 hours at the crease in a Victorian second 11 match. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
At Clarendon today, look out for urgent civil works. Grants Gully Road near Eastern Road. Fullerton intersection works continuing there. Cross Road at Fullerton Road, speeds at 40. While in the city, selected roads getting upgraded in the East Parklands. It's including Decatable Terrace and Hutt Street. Busy at the moment, South Road at Mile End. And look out for a camera, Hay Road at Linden Park. Order your C coffee on the OTR app and enjoy a freshly ground barista-made coffee. It's as easy as click and collect. OTR. Making life easy. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now to 5AA weather.
Buy an orthopaedic model queen-size mattress for only $999 at Elite Bedding, South Road, Edwardstown.
A top of 18 today with showers developing, showers tomorrow 15 and the same on Saturday. Right now it's 12 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Nothing beats a road trip, so before you do the fun stuff, let RAA do the car stuff.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
23 minutes to 9. Behind closed doors is coming up. You can feel a crack of palpable anticipation across Adelaide at the moment.
'Cause there's one day in September we want to remember. There isn't any doubt.
This today might be the grand final of the grand final competition. If you've been practicing trying to get through, you've got a theory, you've got a trick to it, I suggest today's the day you wheel it out, because clue number 9's just come into the studio.
We know we're getting down to the business end now because Sam's handed the envelope to Will, who is the polished professional in this duo. That's why he gets asked to host all the major events around town. I've offered my services, but no organisation will have me. So,
now
Will,
that
with
is not true.
mellifluous tones, will read out clue number 9.
Okay, clue number 9. 82230055 is the number. As soon as I say it, we're opening the phone lines. Clue number 9 is this. Michael Tuck Medal. Michael Tuck Medal. 82230055.
He was the bloke with the beard, wasn't he? What was the number again? Sorry, I spoke over the top of that. The one thing everybody in South Australia wants to hear. What's the number again?
They know. 82230055. This could be it. Get calling now. And if you're not calling, just think of Lucy and Sam at this troubled time when they have to deal with 900,000 people trying to call at once over the course of, God knows how long.
The Michael Tuck Medal is awarded each year to the player with the best beard. Robert Klomp won it in 1982. That's when it started.
Is that right? No, don't disregard David's clue, okay? Disregard that.
Oh, Clippity.
That's not helping out anyone.
Clippity Klomp.
The AFL Grand Final could be something you're attending this year. This is an AFL authorised GF promotion, GFAFL 22/106. Flights, accommodation, tickets, you know the drill. It is the ultimate weekend. It is a lifetime of memories, and you get to anger 100,000 people listening all in one fell swoop too. 82230055. I can see the phone line is going bananas.
First
at the moment.
18 players with beards. So you got Michael Tuck at fullback. You got Josh Kennedy at full forward. Who's the captain?
That's a good question. Hey, that's a good one for Timmy and Rowie to chew over in the sports show. I don't know how this has happened, but somehow, David has no control that I can see. So perhaps he's more magical than I would have thought. But the caller comes from Unley. Okay, so that raises my suspicions instantly. Philip, good morning.
Good morning, boys.
Philip, are you a Sturt fan?
Sure am, yeah.
Okay, now I'm really suspicious.
Good on you, Phil.
Philip.
GSM, good Sturt man.
Philip, all of Adelaide is listening. A lot of people think they know. I imagine you think you know. Can you just walk us through your working out with the clues you've heard and then at the end arrive at your answer?
Well, I haven't heard many clues, actually. I'm just sitting waiting to pick my daughter up at the airport, and I I just got through, so I thought I'd just have a stab at it, actually.
So when you say,
no,
hang on. When you say not many clues, Philip, how many's not many?
One before today, so that was something to do with white, and that was about it.
White, and you've heard today's clues.
This might be, you might be on shaky ground, Philip.
Philip, all right. You're not filling us with a whole lot of confidence, Philip, but...
No, neither am I. I'm not very confident either.
Okay, all right. With all that said, who do you think...
A lot of people are going to be dirty on me, I know, to get the truth.
Don't worry about them. This is your moment, Philip. Who do you think has the grand final tickets?
Well, I think the Matthew Tuck medal, I remember, I know it was a Port Adelaide supporter that won that, and it was quite a while ago, so... was it Matthew Primus?
Matthew Primus. Matty Primus. Great ruckman.
Matty. Well, it was technically
Coach.
Matthew.
5 letters.
Oh, Phil, bad luck, mate.
I'm sorry, Philip. It is not Matthew Primus. There's a lot of people who are really upset right now, but they shouldn't be.
No, because they're still in the hunt.
Because they're still in the competition, and there's going to be another chance for the tickets tomorrow. Another clue and another guess.
You've got to get through. You've got to get through.
Oh my goodness!
The competition lives on.
The show goes on, as Leonardo DiCaprio said in The Wolf of Wall Street.
That's not all he said.
That's not all he said. I'm in a state of shock at the moment. So,
I must admit, a warning bell went off too when Philip said he could remember who won the Matthew Tuck medal.
Michael.
Oh, bad luck, Philip.
Bad luck, Philip.
See you on See you on the concourse at Unley next year.
The old AFL Grand Final Cop lives to fight another day against all odds. Okay.
I should stress I have no idea who Philip was. I don't know. I've never met him. It's got nothing to do with me. Someone says, was that Phil Martin sabotaging the competition? Might have been. I think if it was Phil Martin, he would use it as an opportunity to say that the grand final was too large and too loud.
It wouldn't have been Tuck, he said. Okay, all this week we are celebrating the winners of our Healthcare Heroes promotion thanks to Avanti Care, and Jane Riley's been out chatting with our winners.
Today, I'm with our winner in the Allied Health category, and I'm saying congratulations to Lauren Bayliss. Lauren leads a team at the Women's and Children's Hospital. Lauren, firstly, congratulations, and tell me about your work.
Thank you, Jane. I work at the Women's and Children's Hospital, and I manage and lead and support a team of allied health professionals, and we work and support children and families after illness and injury.
A lot of people aren't really aware of what allied health professionals do. What are some of the categories and some of the jobs that they do?
Allied health are healthcare professionals who provide a range of different services. They provide care and treatment, but they can also be involved in preventative healthcare, children, adults, and into the aged population as well.
The person who nominated you said that they love your passion and your wonderful smile that's always there. You obviously enjoy your work.
I really love my work. I've done it now for a number of years, and I just love working with the families and the children, but I also love the team that I work with. Everyone's incredibly dedicated and always has the patient and the family at the centre of their care.
Lauren, congratulations, very well deserved. I'm very pleased now to present you with this cheque for $1,000, and on behalf of FIVEAA and Avanti Care, we say a really big thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Avanti Care, as well. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
16 minutes to 9. We will take no more calls for the AFL Grand Final ticket competition this morning. We will tomorrow. We'll get another clue then. So you can just ease up, smashing the call button on your phone. You can just hold up, give it a break, and in 24 hours' time, we'll do it all again. That said, if you want to call us with a rumour or some goss, we had some good ones through in the last 45 minutes. If you've got some tea for us...
Give us the tea. Thanks to Smeg.
We've got a kettle for you. 8223 is the number. Speak to Lucy and Sam. Come up with a fake name or let them come up with it. Lucy's clearly got food on the brain because everyone's been nicknamed Apple or Celery or something. I think she's planning on making some sort of salad. 8223 is the number if you've got a rumour for us, and you could win yourself a magnificent Smeg kettle in the next 10 minutes. We'll be giving that one away. A little bit earlier in the program, we were talking about the killjoys that got rid of the kids' bike track that had been made and skate track by the state government. We've got a comment from the Department of Infrastructure and Transport regarding that, the BMX jumps, as they say, at Edwardstown, corner of Castle Street and Railway Terrace. They were listening into the program, and this is what they've had to say. A review of the site in 2021 by the contractor responsible for the site found that the jumps at that time were safe to remain. However, since then, there's been a significant increase in jump construction, debris and rubbish, and the site is now considered to pose safety risks to the community. In response to this increased risk and after numerous complaints, the department's contractor has removed the accumulated rubbish and plans to level the site to ensure the area is safe for all community members.
Well, someone's run out there with a ruler saying, it's now 3 inches taller than it was in 2021. These people are pedants. Seriously.
The rubbish seems to be conflate the issue. Okay, if there was rubbish, get rid of it.
Yeah, exactly. But the one part of that, though, that I think is true, is that there might actually be some people who complain. I mean, I can remember being door-knocked by some local hippie down at Aldinga years ago complaining about a plan for a bike track along the Esplanade, saying there's going to be children riding their bikes here, making all sorts of noise. Do you want to sign the petition? I went, no. In fact, I feel like starting my own petition. People of Aldinga not troubled by the sound of children riding bicycles.
If you've signed that petition or you've complained about something like this, just spare everyone in the community the sanctimony of you saying kids are on their devices and stuck inside these days.
Yeah.
You've lost the right to be in that conversation.
Yeah.
Because you're part of the reason why.
Can't they concentrate on fixing up South Road and telling people whether their houses are going to be knocked down or not? Haven't they got, rather than knocking down bike ramps built by children, they should work out which houses and businesses they're going to knock down to finish the Torrens to Torrens.
Do you think if the kids called in looking for an explanation, someone would be on today or would be a radio?
Oh, well, exactly. And nice that they respond to us, but why did it take them 2 days to not respond to the messenger? Wonder what the Premier thinks about this, his department.
All right, let's take another Smeg rumour. Beetroot. It's on
Morning,
the line.
boys.
Morning, Beetroot.
Morning, boys. How are you today?
We're good, thanks, mate.
I've heard that the HR Council of Nova Entertainment has to start their day at 6 minutes to 9 rather than at 9 o'clock because if a certain segment gets played, the phone runs off the hook.
Thank you, Beetroot.
Sorry, I was a bit distracted there, and I've just got a message from Tom Koutsantonis. And in all seriousness, I have got a message from Tom Koutsantonis from his office. The Minister has asked the department to review this decision with no further action to be taken in the interim. That's about the Edwardstown bike track.
There you go. That's good.
Good on you, Coots.
That's the Minister.
Yep.
Being the Minister.
Yeah.
I reckon that might be interesting news to our next guest. Steve from South Clinton is the dad of the two boys who built the BMX track. He's been an interested listener this morning. Steve, good morning. Thanks for calling us, mate.
No worries. I can't claim that my boys actually made the track being 9 and 7 years old, but they have enjoyed using it over the last year or so. I just heard the response from the Department of Transport and Infrastructure that Dave read out. Just a few points. They talk about rubbish on the site. The rubbish was actually just some chairs and some shovels, etc., that they used to keep the tracks going. Like, we weren't talking about, a whole bunch of litter or anything. In fact, the kids had actually put a couple of green bins there to put their rubbish in.
Yeah, right.
So I don't know where they're getting that one from. And my wife actually did some digging about this last week when we found out what was going on. And she eventually got to someone who said that there had been one complaint, not multiple complaints.
That'd be right. So the squeaky wheelers and councils and government departments, they respond to, a completely unrepresentative complaint like that one.
Hey, Steve, do you want to know the ironic thing, Dave?
Yeah.
Directly across the road from those bike tracks, on the footpath, is a whole bunch of illegally dumped furniture and rubbish that's been sitting there for weeks.
Yeah, right. Well, that's probably a council thing. It's probably, oh no, that's different
Oh,
land.
yeah, I know, but I completely get that. But it's just the ironic situation.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Hey, Steve, I wasn't trying to cut you off, but I just thought you might be interested to know, because you were probably on hold waiting to come on when I read this out. Did you hear, though, that Tom Koutsantonis' office has given us a statement saying that he's asked the department to review the decision and to take no further action in dismantling the track in the interim? So it looks like the demolition is going to stop pending the departmental review. Because, I mean, presumably, if the tracks were to their satisfaction only last year in 2021, then maybe they can just rectify it and leave it be.
Well, to be honest, they haven't built up that much in the last year. They maybe added a couple of jumps, but they haven't got any bigger. And the area we're talking about, like, there's no one would walk through there anyway.
Yeah.
It's just a bunch of mud. So do we just leave a bunch of mud, or do we have something there for kids to actually enjoy their weekends on?
Well, hopefully it sounds like some common sense might prevail here, Steve, if the Minister's action is taken up. Stephen South Blinton, the
Good
father
on you,
of the
Steve.
boys, good on you for calling in.
Good on
mate.
you.
We appreciate
Good on your
it.
lads too, getting out there doing it. So I actually think part of the thing is, because sometimes people might say, oh, well, maybe they just need to have a proper bike track built by the council or the government or something. But I would say the process
it's part of the fun.
making it, like making the berms and making the backing with the timber, getting old, packing crate or pallet, pull it apart, take the nails out, pile the mud up with your hands. That's the creative part of it that makes it so good. And then you take pride in the fact that you've designed something with your own hands and tools, and it works and everyone can enjoy it. It's terrific stuff for kids to do.
Sanity may prevail yet, hopefully. Let's check traffic.
Thanks, Will. At Myland, we've got urgent gasworks at the moment. That's Henley Beach Road near South Road. Fulham Gardens, reports of a smash on Tapley's Hill Road at Henley Beach Road, while at Clarendon, urgent sewer works. That's near Grants Gully Road at Eastern Road. Busy right now, Brighton Road at Glenelg, and camera-wise, look out for those today. Bevington Road, Glenunga, and another one, Greenhill Road at Burnside. Freedom's Unmissable Homewares event is on, with up to 30% off their entire range of rugs, mirrors, lighting and more. These unmissable savings won't last long. Only at Freedom. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
City Discount Tires.
For the best advice and price on tyres and mechanical, see City Discount Tires. With local deals on the world's biggest and best brands in tyres, wheels, suspension and parts for four-wheel drive, SUVs and passenger cars. Finance available. Find your nearest dealer at citydiscounttires.com.au. We're driven by value.
Electoral has manufactured and installed garage doors in SA since 1974, and their commitment to quality is as strong as ever. So if it's time for a new look for your house or time to upgrade, why not now? Order a new roller door, sectional door or customer designer door with operator by September 30th and you'll receive a free premium operator upgrade and 2 bonus handsets. For a free measure and quote and helpful advice, search Electoral today. Retail customers only, T's and C's apply.
You might think having thousands of POWs is excessive, but that's not what the team at Parafield Airport Liquor Store think, because that's how many they have. Sure, they might be made up of over 200 gins, 300 craft beers, 500 whiskies from around the world, and over 2,000 wines. But they're some of the best POWs you can have, and they're always looking for more. Parafield Airport Liquor Store. POWs, next to Roulette's Tavern, Kings Road, Parafield.
Is it possible to create tomorrow's car today? Hyundai believes so. Take the Tucson, Hyundai's mid-size SUV, featuring a revolutionary look, intuitive interior, advanced tech, and safety. You can enjoy all this in the Tucson Turbo Diesel all-wheel drive. Available now. Tomorrow's car is here today. Hyundai Tucson, in stock now. Visit Hyundai.com.au. Imagine that. Hyundai.
A lot of shopping centres are the same. Same predictable shops, same food options. But if you want something new, check out Newton Central. Grab a coffee at JD Brew or a bite at Java Lifestyle Coffee and Tea, or dine at Delano's Risotto and Pasta Bar. It's the kind of centre where you can get some retail therapy, do the weekly shop, or just relax. Want something new in your life? Choose a new local. Choose Newton Central, Gorge Road, Newton.
9 News has the experience to break the news. Made in Adelaide for Adelaide. 9 News.
Nothing beats a road trip, so before you do the fun stuff, let RAA do the car stuff.
Breakfast on 5AA. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
5 to 9 behind closed doors in just a moment. Thanks to all those people that left comments on the 5AA Facebook and YouTube live stream. Thanks to RAA this morning. Remember, you can tune in on Grand Vinyl Eve as well. Grand Final Eve is Grand Vinyl Eve here on 5AA. That's coming up next Friday night, thanks to the great people at Clarity Records. We'll be playing some 5AA and footy classics with a host of guests who will talk about their footy inspirational music from 7 to 10 p.m, all thanks to Clarity. Clarity Records, 60 Pulteney Street. A
real labour of love doing the playlist for this one. Getting some excellent help from some of our good friends as well. All will be revealed.
Absolutely.
Some big names on the night.
Looking forward to that. We have a winner in the SMEG Thursday competition. Building or renovating, your first choice will be visiting the SMEG showroom at Debney Distributors. Taste the difference with SMEG. Who wins the kettle?
From the many excellently known people who rang this morning, we're going to go for Celery. Celery with his excellent Smeg Kettle rumour about the location of the new Women's and Children's Hospital. That's a cracker.
And I tell you what, Lucy needs to go eat. She just kept giving everyone names of salad ingredients. It's real insight what's going on out there at the moment. Okay, let's go behind closed doors. Thanks to Aussie Fast Transport Solutions, Interstate Freight, Distribution, Warehousing and Local Adelaide Couriers. Call Aussie Fast 13 13 64.
And when we get behind closed...
You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
And welcome back to 5AA Breakfast. And David Penberthy, welcome back to you too.
Yeah, g'day Will, how you going?
Oh, really well, David.
Deus Dux Doctrina Lux.
Coming up soon, we'll be going around the courts with Sean Fewster and talking all things legal.
So now we've got King Charles, QCs, Queen's Councils will become KCs.
Well, that's right, yep.
What does that mean for KC and the Sunshine Band?
Sorry, David?
That means they were wrong all that time. They should have been QC and the Sunshine Band.
Yeah, which of course makes very little sense, David, because his name was Harry Casey, hence KC and the Sunshine Band, but I'm being pedantic.
Do a little dance, sing a little song, Make Love Tonight. What a great tune that was.
Yeah, not a big disco fan.
Well, that's fair enough, Will. It had nothing to do with what we're talking about.
We'll also discuss this morning the procession of people waiting in line to view the Queen's coffin.
What does that say about Ned Miller?
Sorry, David?
From a jack to a king, I played an ace and I won a queen. What a great tune that was.
Yeah, not sure I know Ned Miller, David.
Doesn't matter, you've got your breakfast show, I've got mine.
We're going to be talking more about what our currency might look like now that King Charles is our monarch, changes to the $5 note.
$25 bidder now, $30, 30, 30. Give me 30, make it 30, biddly biddly, $30, will you? Give me 30, will you? $30 bid. Great little tune, that one. Leroy Van Dyke, the auctioneer song.
Also this morning, we'll be discussing our grand final music night.
Oh, yeah. What are we doing?
That actually sounded like the show.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. 2 minutes to 9. We're out of time. Leon Binder's coming up, and we'll catch you tomorrow morning from 6.
North Point are currently overstocked with used cars. They have over 250 across their sites, most are late model, low kilometres, with new car warranties still remaining. While all used